This is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little boogeyman.
All right. Coming down the aisle, your podcast tag team champions of the world, Boomer and Blaze.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of the new year of the Boomer Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
Blaze!
Happy Blaze. Happy New Year is where he's going to everyone. How was your New Year's, Blaze? I haven't seen this man. I apologize we missed last week. I was under the weather. So.
I know, I haven't seen you since last year.
Yeah.
Wink.
It's been like 2 weeks though, so I did absolutely nothing New Year's Eve. I had to work the next day. And my line of work,
I had my children.
Yeah.
And I had the Buckeye game on a TV to see the little TV right there.
Yeah.
I had the Buckeye game on that because I haven't been able to get any of my children to get into football. So I have the little TV with the Buckeye game on, and then we were watching shows, playing games. We eventually put on the Miley Cyrus.
You almost said Mariah.
Yeah, I know.
New Year's Eve, gotcha.
The Miley Cyrus Dolly Parton New Year's Eve special to watch the ball drop. Unfortunately, I was paying attention to the Buckeye game, and when the ball dropped is the same time the ball dropped on our game.
I actually have to admit I didn't finish the Ohio State game or see the ball drop. But I had to get up
right around the time of the
morning,
around the time as the ball dropped. It is when that kick went off.
Yeah.
And instead of going, Happy New Year, I was like, oh, Happy New Year.
But on the bright side, TCU took Michigan down. So. It was a good game.
That
TCU Michigan game was a good game.
I watched the end.
Yeah.
I will say both of us got screwed over on a targeting call that should have been called. At the end there.
You're probably going to say you would have liked to see Michigan win, which I get because they're.
I wanted to see Michigan. No, it's not that I have that loyalty.
I'll be a Big Ten.
I'll be flat out and say, well, I just want to see Big Ten win. Now, fuck Michigan. No, it was a selfish reason. I wanted Michigan to win. I wanted us to win, and I wanted Buckeyes, Michigan.
Of course.
One of the biggest rivalries in football, whether you're a Buckeye or a Michigan fan, it's one of the biggest.
It would have been like a Super Bowl for college.
And to have that huge rivalry face off in the championship, it would have been cool as fuck, man.
It would have been. And Ryan Day took a lot of heat.
Plus, I wanted the revenge game.
Right. Well,
I wanted to come back in the championship. Yeah, you won the regular season. Guess what? Boom, championship, we win.
Yeah. And guess what? Yeah, Harbaugh, you beat us the last few years, but you just can't win those bowl games, can you?
No, they
cannot. You just
cannot.
can't win those titles. And now all of a sudden, I say it every year, but here we go again with Harbaugh's heading to the NFL. Harbaugh's heading to the NFL. We'll see. That's what they say every year, but he might run with his tail between his legs. But
we'll see.
So we survived New Year's, and before we get into a bunch of other stuff, I want to send some thoughts and prayers out. Man, if you didn't see Monday Night Football, Damar Hamlin, definitely sending our prayers out to him. I was not in the room when it happened. I was with a friend somewhere else, and we were having dinner. And as soon as we got back to their house and we turned the TV on, the ambulance was pulling away. So I didn't know what happened yet, but all I knew was, that's not good. Because normally it's a golf cart.
Did you watch it at all?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Immediately then, the one good thing about social media is I immediately...
Yeah.
And I found the video on Twitter, and I watched it like 6 different times.
So when it first happened, I ended up going to my dad's house. My brother went over to my dad's house. We were going to have a nice, this is biggest game of the year type shit.
I was excited.
Biggest game of the season at least.
Yeah.
And we go over to my dad's house. I was like, oh, I want to watch this with my dad. This is huge. and obviously the air.
Yeah.
But the hit itself did not look bad.
It didn't look hard.
And the first time, like when he went down, I was like, "Oh, there's an injury." You know, it's just, you know, it's football. You're used to, you gotta expect injuries. Injuries are gonna happen. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
And we were like, "Oh, you know, there's an injury." Didn't think it was that bad. And then we started seeing the coach cry. We're like, "Okay, that's not." Even within most injuries, you don't see the coach cry. Yeah. And then you started seeing Josh Allen crying.
Yeah.
Like all the players just crying. And then they showed the tackle again. And still, the tackle did not look that bad. We're like, well, maybe he hit his head. Like when he went down, he did look like he landed on his head. So maybe it was something along those lines. Yeah. Then we found out the next day it was cardiac. It was a heart condition. Yeah.
So I looked up the Twitter video, and I'm like you. Before I even really paid attention to the way he fell and all that, I'm just rewinding it. Like the hit didn't look bad. It didn't look rough. But T. Higgins' helmet did go.
It did.
And it was a weird tackle. But it's not T. Higgins' fault, so that crap just needs to stop.
I've heard about that.
It's motion, people. It's football. It's motion in football.
Yeah, it's not like he did anything wrong.
But I guess because I am not a doctor by any means. Let me get that out of the way. But I used to be a caregiver. So I was around death, sick people, blah, blah, blah. And right away when he fell, I'm just like, I think he just died.
That's the thing. That's another thing. They showed a replay. Yeah. And when they showed the replay, he stood up, and as soon as he stood up, he fell backwards,
dropped,
and that's when we're like, no, that's
and now
not
they're
good.
saying he's
that's
doing
not
good. And for you that don't know the difference, and I'm not a doctor, like I said,
I don't know about good, but they say
better.
He's improving a bit.
He's got a heartbeat, but a heart attack is your blood flow getting cut off from your heart. Cardiac arrest is literally a malfunction where your heart stops. I mean, he literally did.
Oh yeah, he
drop.
He did.
And they had to give him oxygen. They say they started his heart before he left the field, but I was worried he was dead.
I thought for sure.
Players are like
watching those people
I've
crying.
I've been doing this forever, and I.
Well, then they're talking there, and this is when the ambulance was out there. They said they had to perform CPR.
Yeah,
you're not used to seeing CPR on it. Yeah, for 9 minutes.
Went to put him in the ambulance and took him back out to put oxygen on him.
Yeah, I don't know how he survived. Like, I thought for sure we just, you know.
I mean,
it was already one of the worst things. They've never canceled a game or stopped a game because of something like this. This is the first time. I believe this is the first time.
I've ever seen it.
It's unprecedented.
Everybody on TV kept saying, athletes themselves, like, I've never seen it. This is different. This wasn't Tua Tagovailoa, however you say it, when he hit his head and had a concussion. It was different. Because he stood up, jiggled around, tried to shake it off. You knew it was a concussion.
Yeah.
This drop was like, oh, wow. And I couldn't imagine. The family was there. I mean, the mom and dad were in the stands and ended up going to the hospital. But I couldn't even imagine.
I just heard the mom. I wasn't sure.
Well, maybe it was just the mom.
I don't know if the dad was there.
I'm not sure, but kudos, though, to both coaches.
Oh, my gosh,
the game was not going to happen.
Absolutely.
They didn't care what they had to do. And all the fan bases on both sides, forget the ignorant people that care about the game. Listen, folks, this is someone's life. Football's for fun. If you ask me, you could just eliminate the game. Who cares? I know it's playoffs and blah, blah, blah. Guess what? We're both still going. Both teams are still going to the playoffs.
We still don't know what's going on. It does have a lot of... If we're talking about the football aspect of it, it does have a lot to do with first...
it does.
I mean, if the Bengals would have won, we would have won the division with that game. If we would have won, we would have had a chance for the first round bye.
We'll see what they do. Because they said week 18 is going to go on normal. So we have a game.
Right now, we do not know. There's no update. They just said that it's postponed and they're not playing it this week.
But
they haven't said what they're doing with it, if they're going to try to replay it, if they're going to do, which right now I'm just hoping that in a day or two we find out he's okay.
Exactly. And then
I don't know. I'm still surprised he survived.
Yeah.
So
they say he's fighting and he's still in critical condition.
Every bit of good news is great news because I thought for sure
he was a goner.
He was gone.
And even if, God forbid, he comes out of this, let's just hope he's alive.
I mean, his football career is likely over.
Then that's fine.
Unfortunately, I mean, there isn't.
But it was a scary situation, and
I think even if he was able to play, you think his parents are going to push back on that. There's no way they're going to be willing to see their.
Yeah, you never know. Now,
I mean, not that they have the full choice, but anybody who loves him, there's going to probably be fighting on him.
And there was just so much ignorance that I don't even want to address with these people on social media and stuff.
Oh yeah, people are just dumb.
Because let me tell you what, because all these people, well, you signed up for blah, blah, blah. Yeah, listen, nobody. I used to play football. I didn't make it to the NFL. You play football, you think, I could end up, if I do this for a career, I might be a vegetable when I get older. I'm going to have trouble getting out of bed. I may have some fake body parts. Nobody goes into the NFL thinking I could die on the field. So give me a break.
Yeah.
You know there's risks, but guess what? We could all die every day. I could walk out the door and get hit by a car. You know what I mean? I'm just a cook. I could die at work, but I didn't sign up thinking I might die at work. Like people were like, well, he's playing in the NFL. Well, yeah, he is, but this wasn't even football related. Now,
there's just a lot of ignorance.
They may say that the helmet contact might have, but there's going to be a pre-existing condition. Cardiac arrest just doesn't pop up. So get it the hell over yourselves, okay? Quit being ignorant. The point was we wanted to send our thoughts and prayers out to him. So
yeah,
there's some wrestling to go over, and of course our usual chatter and video game reviews back. Guess who's back? Back again. Reviewing In Your House, the video game, this week as well. But we'll start with some wrestling before we do that. And I guess before wrestling, I just wanted to do a real quick recap of our first year together, which wasn't a full year. But we did technically are in a new year. And I just wanted to throw a few things at you. And if you want to throw them back, you can. Like, if I throw out what's your favorite match that we have watched so far, just since we've been doing the show.
It's going to be a toss-up of that British Bulldog match and Bret Hart.
Yeah, my favorite.
Or Shawn and Bret Hart, but I think I don't know.
Mine is still Bulldog and Bret. And I'm not trying to take away from the Iron Man match, because it is.
The Iron Man match was great, but I think overall, I think it's the Bret Hart.
Me too. I mean, that match is just, we've talked about it so many times, but maybe it's because my expectations were so low.
Yeah, well, maybe if you listen to that podcast, you flat out absolutely like, I cannot believe you're doing this rematch.
What are you doing?
You can't beat Wembley Stadium. And then we're like, I don't know about beat, but holy shit.
Hold my bulldog.
Yeah,
hold my dog. Let me show you again. And he's in the main event again here in a minute.
Hold my water bowl.
Hold my water bowl. And easily, I think the worst thing we've watched together was WrestleMania 11, which shouldn't even be.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I'm just saying.
WrestleMania 11 was shit.
Go back and check it out, though, because, the bad pay-per-views are sometimes a little entertaining when you listen to our shenanigans while we're watching that.
Yeah,
I was just interested in your opinion.
That's where we got Bam Bam versus a football player, wasn't it, as the main event?
The best thing about WrestleMania 11 was Pam Anderson. We all know that.
Jenny McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
We got both.
We got a double dose.
Yeah, we got a double dose.
That's nice. And I think probably WrestleMania 12 was the best. My favorite pay-per-view we watched. Part of that might be because of the guest we had with us when we watched that pay-per-view, but that was probably my favorite
It was a great pay-per-view, too, though. I think it
was a good pay-per-view, too, though. By the way, it's almost our most listened to. We now have a tie. Our first episode in WrestleMania 12. So Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 12 are tied as the most listened to episodes now. So
yeah.
See how that goes. Get those numbers up, kids. All right, so I touched on that a little bit. Now we'll discuss some wrestling. And before we go into our usual WWE, we're going to talk some Japan stuff. Because some big things happened over in Japan. Over last night, actually, or this morning. The hours are different, whatever. But anyway, at Wrestle Kingdom, a few things happened. We saw the debut of Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks.
Oh, yeah. I saw your
made her Japan debut.
Post on that.
I like how, she's just putting that. So her last name's spelled Mone, but she's putting the thing above the E, whatever you call that. I'm not a grammar person. So her name is Mercedes Moné.
Sure.
But she came out with some, new music, some pretty cool gear. She beat up Kairi. She used to be in WWE. Kairi Sane, right? Was that her name?
Kairi Sane.
Yes. Well, she's in Japan
The pirate.
now.
She was a pirate. I liked her a lot.
She's actually their women's champion. So that's how Sasha debuted, was attacking her, and she's going to challenge her at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, I watched.
So
I liked Kairi Sane.
Yes.
I believe she won the women's tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They did a was it Mae Young?
The Mae Young Classic.
The Mae Young Classic. And I actually watched it all. And it was real fun. It was real fun. And
she's good.
And I believe she won it. Mm-hmm. I really liked her. She was like one of my favorites on there. Yeah. And they were all, new superstars. They weren't, WWE prospects.
Right.
And the winner got a contract for WWE. I think some of them got contracts eventually. But
she's got a lot of talent. She's very good.
She was a lot of fun. She was a pirate. I liked her little thing with Asuka. She was real cool with Asuka.
She's very huge over there, obviously.
Yeah, she was. I believe she was huge over there before.
Oh yeah,
before the Mae Young Classic.
And you could see on Sasha's face like this. I'm an old school guy, so I'm getting like nostalgia from this because Japan used to be a really huge deal.
Yeah,
like getting to Japan, and it still is. Like being over there, and this was Sasha's, first time over there, and you could tell on her face she was just excited, and she should be. Like, you make a lot of money in Japan, you can become a better wrestler in Japan. That's where a lot of the stuff we watch on AEW every week came from. So I think it'll be good for Sasha, and more power to her. Mercedes,
absolutely,
Mercedes, and. It's obviously something.
It's a little sad because I think we all kind of was hoping she would come back with Triple H being at the helm. But not right now.
Not right now.
She just got there.
A lot of people were, tried to say AEW, but I think if she comes back to the States, she'll go back to WWE. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. A couple other things happened. Carl Anderson defended his title, so it was also cool that Sasha used to be with the WWE, but Carl's still under contract, so he did have a WWE star wrestle, but he lost his title to Tonga, another member of the Bloodline. That's just not WWE, but he lost his championship. And then FTR lost their last set of tag titles. This is the second set they've lost this week. Earlier this week, they lost the AAA Lucha titles, and of course, they lost the Ring of Honor titles at the Dishonor pay-per-view, and now they've lost their IWGP, so they have no tag titles left. It looks like FTR is leaving AEW. That's at least what Dax Harwood keeps putting out there. I kind of checked the timing of their contract because I've stated clearly I'm a huge FTR fan, and I'm thinking, man, WrestleMania 39, the Usos need an opponent. Wouldn't FTR be like a huge... But the contracts...
it'd be big.
The contracts don't line up, and they're still saying they may do the Japan thing for a year, do the Indies for a year, so we'll see what happens. 2024 is going to be, which is still a while away, but 2024 is going to be a huge year for free agents in wrestling. So FTR might take that year off just to wait for that bidding war because MJF's going to be a free agent. There's a couple other people.
Yeah.
And I know it's wrestling, folks, but now that we have two big companies again, there could be people jumping ship. It's a possibility. Just saying. And also, over in Japan, the cleaner Kenny Omega won the United States Championship back. The Japan United States Championship, which makes sense, right? But he is, once again, the IWGP United States Champion, so congratulations to Kenny Omega. So, that's my Japan news I wanted to cover. I'm sure you don't want to cover any Japan news because...
I don't.
Do you like Japanese food, though?
Japanese... I love Chinese food.
Chinese, there you go, folks.
Japanese food is a lot of fish and stuff.
Yeah, it is a lot of fish and stuff. And sushi's Japanese.
Well, sushi... Yeah, but the sushi I like is normally not sushi. I mean,
sushi.
I do the rice sushi and stuff
like
with shrimp and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not big on the actual fish sushi.
Me neither. I get it.
Lobster's okay.
There's some that are good.
I just started liking fish, so I'm still a little leery on eating raw fish.
Yeah.
I realize though the way they do it, it's safe. I get it. No. I'm still
not gonna do it.
Baby steps, motherfuckers. Baby steps. So, but I love seafood. Yeah. I've always loved seafood, and I'll do like the shrimp and the lobster.
Speaking of loving seafood, here's a little news about Mandy Rose. You like how I did that? But anyway, before we go into WWE, that was horrible. I'm sorry,
seafood.
Oh, sorry, Mandy. I really am. Before we go into WWE, real quick on her, first of all, I don't get why, we all know she got let go for her provocative photos on her. Here's my question before I announce this next news. If you're a superstar in the WWE, why the hell are you worried about making money on OnlyFans or anything else like that? You make millions of dollars. Give me a break.
I mean, it's...
And she really could have got around it if she just wouldn't have called her...
things.
If she wouldn't have called herself Mandy Rose, she technically could have got away with it. Technically.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point being is now she made almost as much in a week as she made... in her
Maybe
WWE.
that's why she was
blew up.
Maybe that's why
she set a record for that website for people subscribing to her ever since she got fired. Apparently they were worried she was going to be broke. I don't think she will be, but and maybe she can come back eventually, or maybe she'll go to AEW, or maybe she'll go to Japan, or maybe she'll quit wrestling. Who knows? She's talented. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
I need some hush money. I go with her.
Right.
All right, so that's a quick update on her. Anyway, let's talk some SmackDown news. Did you get to see SmackDown? I guess
I just finished SmackDown before you came over.
I guess real quick.
And I watched last week's SmackDown yesterday.
We missed some stuff. So 2 weeks ago, Raw was like, because they did a best of, pretty much. I mean, the New Year's Raw was...
I haven't been watching Raw. I've just been watching
2 weeks ago,
SmackDown.
Raw was just a bunch of video packages and like a best of thing. But there was a video from Cody... updating, and saying, I'm coming and I want the title and blah, blah, blah. Some people were like...
I'm coming now. I
Cody's
want
coming
the world to say...
That was Dust that came out. That was Gold Dust that came out.
No. Coming out to the
coming
ring.
Out, my bad.
It was coming out to the ring. You bastard.
So they did this, I guess, like Triple H just basically... This is the Triple H regime. A lot of people thought it was going to be a surprise when Cody came back. Like, we all knew he was going to be back at the Rumble. So instead of trying to make it a surprise, they're just going to go ahead and
announce it.
Vignettes, my bad, yes. So, and that's really all that happened. The weird thing was they ran 2 house shows last week. Instead of a live Raw, they ran house shows, which is kind of strange.
A little strange.
One of them was in Madison Square Garden, and Bray Wyatt actually made his in-ring return.
Really?
Now, some people...
At a house show?
Yes, and some people were
Maybe you need some practice.
Why would you... Thank you. Because some people were like, well, first of all... You can't find the whole match online. You can just find footage. He didn't come out as anybody but Bray. They didn't do any now he's the Fiend. They didn't give anything away. The man needs to get in the ring. He hasn't wrestled in forever. He needed to get in the ring. By the way, he broke his finger. So I didn't know if you noticed on SmackDown that he had his hand.
No, I didn't.
He had fingers taped on SmackDown. It was because he broke his finger. That wasn't the only thing. AJ Styles is out of action. He broke his leg, I believe.
Oh, no.
Or something at the house show. Yeah, I saw the footage and I saw the ref throw the X up, and I'm like, well, that's never good. For those of you who don't know, when someone's actually hurt, because we all know our business, they'll throw an X up with their hands. So AJ's out of action. Perfect timing, right? AJ. By the way, the other person that wrestled on the house show was somebody that doesn't have a job, Bobby Lashley, who was fired. Also wrestled on the house show, but...
I didn't know Lashley got fired.
It's a storyline. It was a couple of weeks ago. They fired him because of touching all the officials or whatever.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It's not. Don't tell anything.
Oh, okay.
It's just a storyline.
I haven't been watching Raw, so
you haven't been watching
kind of
Raw.
shocked me.
He got fired in the storyline for putting his hands on officials and beating everybody up.
They'll do it.
So, yeah.
I'll do it.
That's all that was. So yeah, Bray did come back just to, try to knock some ring rust off, and he fucked his hand up. So... But let's go to SmackDown, and let's go right into Bray and LA Knight and Uncle Howdy, huh? So you saw this, right?
I did.
And I did too.
Yeah.
And at first, when the person started coming out, I'm like, this isn't the same Uncle Howdy that was out there originally, the one that came out on SmackDown. Did you get to see the side-by-side comparison of the original? So I do believe now it's Bo Dallas. Like, I think that was Bo Dallas on SmackDown for sure.
Really?
He was thinner than... The Uncle Howdy we were seeing before. The face was a little different, but somebody actually, I don't know if I shared it on our group yet, but somebody posted a picture of Bo Dallas next to Uncle Howdy, like now, and I'm pretty convinced Uncle Howdy's Bo. I could be wrong, but where do you think they're going? I'm still confused.
I don't know. I was thinking this was going to be a faction, but now I
didn't expect Uncle Howdy to attack Bray. That's what's got me.
So I do have a little teensy bit of a theory.
Okay, I mean, because
I'm wondering if this is like the Bray character we're seeing. Bray is going to be gone. What I'm wondering is Uncle Howdy is doing these attacks, or this one attack as of right now,
right,
as a way to break Bray back to the Fiend.
Right.
So that's my theory. Is
that's not a bad theory.
That's my theory. Is that, that Howdy is trying to bring the Fiend back, and then maybe a faction,
right? Of other because they're still
he doesn't want this happy-go-lucky. Right. I'm just happy to be here. I'm Bray Wyatt,
and that's what I kind of said when the whole thing started. Is they're trying to treat Bray like that's actually that's him, more like that's really him, So I kind of think the same thing, and they're still doing the Alexa Bliss teases on Raw this past week.
I saw the message, or I saw a thing on Facebook about which I'm cool with. I like it.
Yeah, and I hope she is part of that faction. But now we know for sure at the Royal Rumble, which by the way is my pay-per-view. This is my birthday month. The Royal Rumble's my pay-per-view.
Now, here's the thing.
And we are getting Bray at the Rumble finally. LA Knight.
I think they announced that on SmackDown.
I'm interested what WWE is going to do with their version of a pitch black what did they call it? Wasn't it a pitch black?
The pitch black challenge or something.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the week before SmackDown.
Okay.
Bray attacked a cameraman.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And that wasn't I don't recall anything triggering it. It wasn't Uncle Howdy punching him or doing something.
It was just
he just kind of. So I do think they're doing a bit of a bipolar type thing, or not bipolar, multiple personality. That's the word.
Kind of like Split and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that M. Night Shyamalan twisted kind of stuff.
Which leads into the thought I was thinking of is that Uncle Howdy is actually attacking Bray to
bring him back
to bring out the Fiend and not Bray. So
and there are some rumblings that he could still be the Fiend when this all
I think he will.
Unfolds,
if he's not the Fiend, I think this is bringing a new character.
Still some kind of. Yeah.
We're going to get
he's not going to be the Bray we're seeing right now.
Yeah, no. I think the Bray we're seeing now is just a character that is about to go away.
Yeah.
Or not go away, but I mean, they could do a whole split personality thing where he shows up, but he also turns.
Exactly. I think, maybe something will happen at the Rumble.
Clearly, there's a long game.
There is a long game. That's
there's
why I'm
a long game.
If we may not see as much as we expect.
You know what? We haven't been getting as much, but you know what? We're starting to get into some juicy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we actually have an official
match. I know we were complaining a bit early on, okay, I like this new Bray, but I want more. I want something. I want something to happen. Yeah. Things are starting to fucking happen.
And
we're getting Uncle Howdy. We're getting Bray's fractured psyche.
And a match.
Things are happening. And a match. So we're getting a good story, and it's a long story.
And that's fine.
And maybe they milked it a little too long, but I don't think so. I think we're okay. I think we were complaining at first, but we're getting into it.
Yeah, because they know how to, like you said, the cameraman thing was random.
Just random. Just bloop.
By the way, I hate to burst your bubbles, he wasn't actually a cameraman, but
he
was a wrestler. He was supposed to be a cameraman.
Hey, just shut your damn mouth.
Wow,
let the mystery, the magic. We're not trying to tell Houdini's secrets, okay?
That's right.
We don't need to tell the secrets. Let's just believe it's a cameraman.
That's right.
Let's just
let our imaginations.
I swear, you might as well tell these kids Santa ain't real.
Oh shit!
Hey, no, Santa's real. I just watched Violent Night. It's definitely real. I got proof. Santa's real and he kicks ass.
This guy, I have not watched it yet, but when I do, we will discuss it for sure.
It will be one of our 3 pods of Christmas. I know it's a little late,
right?
But we'll be getting back. Me and my son are planning on getting back to coming soon to a podcast near you.
Right.
And we got Elf that we're reviewing. We got Violent Night we're reviewing, and for our Star Wars watch, the Star Wars Holiday Special.
There you go.
We get to talk about Grandpa Chewbacca watching Star Wars porn. Space porn.
Exactly.
Have you never seen the Holiday Special?
Hasn't everybody? Only
it's
if you're
horrible.
Yes,
it's fucking horrible.
It's one of the worst pieces of cinematic anything ever made. It's back. It's almost as bad as WrestleMania 11.
I want to agree with you, but WrestleMania 11 was nothing compared to the holiday special.
It wasn't. It's very bad. It's good bad. It's like cult classic bad. You know.
You got Luke Skywalker looking like a doll for some reason. He's like looking shiny.
They all hated it. Too. They all regret that they even did it. Like any of the actors are like, yeah.
You got Princess Leia looking like she was high, and she probably was. Unfortunately,
time, then,
she was probably high. You got space porn.
Space porn.
You got weird.
They're probably all high.
Weird, creepy Chewbacca child.
Oh my gosh.
And it's all about Life Day. Happy Life Day.
Happy Life Day. It's one of the greatest thing ever.
I haven't watched it again yet, but
they were going to make a good Star Wars special, but they got high. That's what happened.
But they got high. They got high. On that blue milk.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, that's a good song.
All right, continue. Sorry.
Oh, am I continuing? All right.
Go ahead.
The next thing on the SmackDown, which I guess some people were confused about, what did you think about Charlotte not only coming back, but taking the
title?
Taking the title.
I don't know if I liked it.
Yeah, at first I'm like, but in Triple H we trust, right? So then I read.
I guess, but...
Well, I read this. Here's what I read about this situation, is that the planned main event for WrestleMania 39 was Ronda... Well, not main event, but the women's match was going to be Ronda and Becky. And apparently it leaked. No doubt Triple H. It's the modern era. It leaked on the internet, plus Becky felt that the match lost some of its luster and it wasn't going to be a big enough main event. So to swerve everybody, that's literally all it was, is to change the plans and to swerve everybody, Charlotte won the belt. So they could change direction. That easy. Thinking that Becky versus Ronda wasn't going to be big enough. So there you go.
So now what is Charlotte?
The plans for Ronda is for her and Shayna to start doing the tag division. So Ronda's supposed to be going after the tag belts. As far as Charlotte's plans, I don't know who they're planning on putting her against. But to me, this still seems weird, but this is all I can find.
I mean, I guess it doesn't make Ronda look too weak because she just got done. Yeah. She fought a hard-fought match, and she was doing a second match afterwards. Yeah. I hope that means Charlotte is a heel, because that's the type of thing a heel does, come after someone right after they did a match.
Yeah. It's weird. It's interesting.
I don't know. I don't necessarily like it because Charlotte versus Ronda is a huge pay-per-view style match.
Yeah.
And we just pretty much got that.
Quickie. Yeah. And now we don't even know if it's going to be Ronda and Charlotte again. Like, I don't know. I don't know where they're going.
I don't know. I don't know if I liked it.
Pretty much read it was a swerve. Triple H just decided we're going to change things up.
I get what you're saying, but you know, Ronda's a big deal. And,
she is. She's
and I don't know if I like that. And don't get me wrong, I love Charlotte.
Right.
It's not that I think that, oh no, Charlotte shouldn't be able to take the... I'm fully fine with Charlotte winning. I just don't know if I like the way they did it.
And you could have, Charlotte could have came back and you could have built all that up. Yeah. I just think you kind of blew a lot. You blew your whole load. You blew your whole load in one shot. Money shot. Yeah.
Is hush money right for you?
It could be in this situation. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see where it goes. WrestleMania is almost sold out, believe it or not, both nights, and they haven't even announced one fucking match yet.
Wow.
And they've almost sold it out.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm with mixed feelings because I love all the people involved. I love Charlotte. That was a good match that Ronda had before the Charlotte match. I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe the storyline will develop after this where it will make me like it. Actually, you know what I would love? If this was building up to them finally... But they can't do it because some of the people aren't there. The 4 horsewomen of MMA versus the 4 horsewomen of...
But they can't do it.
But Banks isn't there.
Yeah. No, she is not. And she won't be.
And she won't be.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes. I just thought it was definitely a little bit of a shock.
Who's the other one? And it's Charlotte, Becky, Sasha Banks. Is it Bayley? Is Bayley the 4th?
Gosh, it seems like that was so long ago. It's got to be Bayley, don't it?
I didn't get to. I know of them, but I never watched NXT, and I know that's when they.
I didn't watch enough of
I didn't.
For sure.
But I know it was 4.
Yeah, it was.
And then the other 2, I figured they could probably just get the other 2 MMAs in one night for WrestleMania.
Probably.
But that's what we've been wanting for years.
Right. And it still never happened.
No.
Right when War Games comes back and you can't do it. You know? Damn it. And of course, now I don't normally watch SmackDown when it's on. I'll admit that because I watch so much wrestling and I usually record it so I can go back and blah, blah. But I wanted to watch the big return. So let's talk about
John Cena.
Here's my problem. I'm not a huge Cena fan as a wrestler, but I realize who he is. So I'm not going to discredit him or nothing. I wasn't that stoked about it because I like Cena as an actor, but, whatever. But as soon as I saw how much time was left on SmackDown before it even started, I'm like, this is not, they're making it to be all, it's not going to be that much, and it wasn't. I'm not saying it was a bad match, but Cena didn't get tagged till the end. He did his 5 moves of doom and won the match. Like, Cena was in there for, 3 minutes?
But it's been a while since you've seen those 5 moves of doom.
Yeah.
At least a year.
Yeah, it has. It has. First when I saw it, I just like, they're not even giving them, they only had about 12 minutes for the match by the time everybody came out and the commercial ran and so it was
that could be as simple as Cena's under movie contracts and they were like, you're not allowed to take bumps because he didn't take a bump, did he?
No, he gave them all. He didn't take one. No.
So that was probably a deal made by
except for that
the studios for him to
right. Wow, buddy.
Yeah, but other than
shave it off. I don't know. It could be
as simple as that. A contract thing, like, hey, you can go wrestle, but you can't. Yeah, you can't do much.
You can't take bumps. And you can do a double 5 knuckle shuffle with it. It was fine, and of course, poor Sammy looked like the one that got. It looked like it all was his fault. Of course.
Yeah, well,
he had a rough week. But it was fine. So Cena's back, and apparently he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania. And guess who the rumored opponent is for Cena at Mania? Fucking Logan Paul.
Oh, he came back for that?
Apparently so.
Oh my gosh. That's a bit disappointing.
It is, and here's my problem with it is like, how many guys are there right now that would love to have a match with Cena? And how many more is he really going to have? And you really want to waste what's being billed as one of the biggest manias in years, you want to waste it with Logan Paul.
Triple H we trust.
Triple H we trust. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the guy can perform. The Roman Reigns match was entertaining, but I just don't. If you want Cena and Paul, I wouldn't do it at Mania. That's all I'm saying. Originally, I heard Austin Theory was being tossed around as Cena's opponent, but
that sounds like a Vince McMahon thing.
Yeah, and it probably was. So now we're hearing Logan Paul's going to be that's the rumor. So we'll see. WrestleMania's a while away, but whatever. Cena's back. We probably won't see him again for months before.
Man, if it wasn't because I'm pretty sure he's going to be in a title match, Cody.
Yeah, which is still. So the Rock thing's still up in the air. But still, everything you read about the plans for WrestleMania, there's 2 title matches planned. And everything I keep reading says one of them doesn't involve Roman at all. So I still don't know how they're going to take the belt off of Roman before Mania. But right now, the plan is night 1, Cody Seth for one of the titles. I forget which one I read. And Rock Cena in night 2.
Cody Seth. That could be amazing, actually.
But how do you get that belt off again?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Still don't know how they're going to do that. But they do want to have 2 championship matches at Mania.
I think if you're going to do it properly and it's going to be Cody Seth, you need Seth to have the title, not...
Right. Because I read the backup is if The Rock can't make it, it's going to be Roman Cody and then Seth and Drew. That's what I'm reading. Drew McIntyre. So that's what I'm reading. Like, Cody's getting no matter what. But if they can't get The Rock, they want Cody Roman. So, it's still going to be interesting. Vince, thank you for painting him in the corner. I still would use the Money in the Bank briefcase to do it somehow, but it's too late. We already flushed that down.
I'm not sure what they're going to do.
That would have been the easiest way to get one of the belts off of them, would just have been the old classic cash-in Money in the Bank, but we'll see. And we'll see what happens with Mania. But, yeah, they're selling tickets like crazy already, and they haven't even announced there's no official matches at all.
Maybe what they'll do is they'll throw the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania on night 1.
Well, we talked about this. It's possible.
Roman versus someone.
Right.
Roman wins, and then they use the Money in the Bank on night 1
Right.
to take one of the belts. They can only go for one of the belts.
Right, because I would assume that...
And it's the belt that they were supposed to face on night 2.
Oh, he's getting real complex. Huh?
And so they still have to have that match, so whoever won Money in the Bank and took it has to face Cody or
maybe, and I would think
one of the others.
I mean, yeah, we'll see.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
That's just one of
they might book it. They might book 2 title matches. Is what they might have to do. Like that might be the way they take it off. Is okay, Roman, night 1 you're defending.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if you're going to have 2 different
matches,
if you're going to have 2 different matches, you could have the Money in the Bank take one of the titles off, and it goes from Roman facing twice to...
You're just booked in such a bad... You got to do something, you know... Because how do you even handle that if you do that? You have Roman lose the title the first night and then beat The Rock the next night? Like, I wouldn't want to be in their position, you know?
WWHHHD.
Right, yes, exactly. I will say this. As much as I love you, Rock, it seems to me that the easiest thing is Roman Cody without the Rock factor. I mean... but I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess we'll know more when the Rumble comes and we see who wins the Rumble.
Yeah, true.
Will the Great One appear in the Rumble?
I don't know.
But we know Cody will. So, and Top Dollar, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Top Dollar. You ain't down with Top Dollar? No? No.
So, I thought they were absolutely stupid. I hated their outfits. I was confused what their gimmick is. I was explained what their gimmick is.
Hit Row is?
What Hit Row is, that they're actual recording artists and everything like that.
But my problem with Top Dollar. Top Dollar is the bigger guy, the bald guy.
I know who Top Dollar is.
My problem
the one that tried to jump over the top rope and failed miserably.
The problem is I watched you on TV as a fanboy doing WWE's Most Wanted Treasures. He was the host of that show.
I didn't know that.
And so every time I see him, I'm just like, I don't see you as a wrestler. You're the guy that hosts that treasure show. Where
and then you tried to jump over that rope, and that also didn't work.
Did not work.
I love that they made fun of that on this last episode of SmackDown.
But you know that originally Swerve was part of that group.
I'm aware.
But Swerve's
But yeah, I guess they're all recording artists. I didn't know that part of it. That was all in...
Triple H is the one that brought them back like quickly. They were released. And then
I heard.
Triple H got his, power back.
So I got a little bit... I still don't know if I like their outfits, but I get what they are now. I get their gimmick. Now that I get their gimmick, it's not a stupid gimmick.
Right.
It's an alright gimmick.
They're just some rappers, man.
I still haven't warmed up for them.
I mean, at least they're using wrestlers for the gimmick, unlike back in the day, WCW actually signed a Master P and some of his bodyguards to contracts.
Of course they did.
Yeah, the No Limit Soldiers were a WCW thing.
Sure.
All right, well, I think that's all the wrestling I have. How about you? Because we probably rambled a while. And
I'm good.
Good with that. So, the next thing we are going to do is our video game review.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that.
Yes, that's why I was asking if you were done with the modern wrestling.
We haven't done that
because we're going to switch to that. I know it's been a minute, right? We've only had one. Well, last year there was only one game, though.
That's fair.
In 1995.
We'll have more of this show.
We do have more this year, and we're actually going to cover as many as we can if I do my job. A few are non-branded that came out in 96, but we're still going to try to keep up with as many video games as we can. So this week we're reviewing In Your House, the video game. How appropriate, since we are doing In Your House.
It is. Good times.
It came out in 96. This game is very, very obscure to find stuff on. I don't remember it at all. My co-host here remembers playing it.
I remember playing it on PlayStation.
We've watched several. We do research when we do this. I did my initial research. We watched some YouTube videos. We know it came out in 96. Some October, November, somewhere around.
Well, the one on PlayStation, the one I played, came out October.
Yeah. So this was only available on PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and DOS. Microsoft DOS. 3. And part of the reason was Acclaim was actually suffering from financial loss, laying off employees, and they were in a little trouble with the Exchange and Securities Commissions this year. So they were actually putting all their money and focus into Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Remember that?
I remember Turok.
Yes, which is why this game, and not only this game, but several games that year that Midway had their hands in, didn't get a lot of press, weren't released on, they were trying to put all their chips in one spot since they were financially struggling. So maybe that's why a lot of us don't remember this. But similar to WrestleMania, the arcade game. It was similar.
What a matchup!
Let's talk about a few of the differences. Like, everybody has their own arena.
The King of Hearts,
yeah.
So
Owen Hart.
we're still doing the Mortal Kombat.
We are, yes.
Some guys have really cool arenas.
Yes.
Like,
yep.
Owen Hart had his court of cards, I guess. But the cool thing was, in one, it's like he had cards on the wall, and it was like, back there, he had slam like in one corner. Because he is the King of Hearts, right? So,
Undertaker had a dungeon, and it had a guy who was hanging, but he was happy about it.
Yes, he was cheering for the match.
He was cheering for the match.
And then as soon as I was like, look, there's some baby chicks inside him, she took her head off.
Yeah, she takes her head off. And then there was some weird green blob thing. I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that was about.
But, you know, Undertaker's made sense. Oh, yeah. We were very scared
about Ahmed.
We were a little worried. I was like, what are you going to do with Ahmed? You got the one black guy on this. What are you about to do? Is this about to be a KFC or some shit? Like, this is not going to be good. It wasn't good.
No,
but it wasn't offensive. But
it was
not good. It was just a locker room. They're like, we don't give a fuck.
With Ahmed Johnson posters on the wall.
It was either,
in case you didn't know.
It was either they didn't give a fuck, or they were like, careful, what's safe, what's locker room. Do the locker room. Wrap it up.
Well, most of it makes sense. Bret Hart had Stu's dungeon. Triple H had a mansion because he's the regal guy. Goldust came up, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, we
were again.
That was the next one. It was like, oh, crap, we got it. Watch it. What?
It was
but it actually made sense.
Yes.
They went with the other part of his gimmick, and that is he's really into the he's from Hollywood and all that stuff. So it was a movie theater. There was popcorn, and he had popcorns popping out of him and
but
shit.
He did have the movie. He was still rubbing his.
Oh yeah, he was rubbing his nipples.
Still rubbing his nipples and his testicles.
Yeah, no, it was still that. But
yeah, there was still that going on, and of course, Sean had a nightclub with 17 Marines in the background.
Absolutely, all the Marines.
Pretty sure
Marty Jannetty bought. Yeah, absolutely.
It was a nightclub. The ropes looked like they were neon. You know, there were some headbangers. I don't know. I said there was a.
That was the headbangers that are eventually going to show up in WWE.
It was the Marty Jannetty School of Jobbers.
No, okay.
They just decorated it up.
Well, then they were about to tag Sean. Yeah.
And there was a girl dancing in the background. And I said, it looks like Stephanie. And it might be. Remember when I pointed her out?
It's possible. They were probably like.
Shane were young. They were like in the catalogs, modeling the clothes and stuff, and it had, so it could be her. I don't know. But that was a pretty funny one. Then we got to the.
I'm confused still.
And the first thing I noticed was he was in the desert with a canyon in the background. I'm like, see, I told you the Warrior was an Indian gimmick. And the post
Native American.
Native American.
Let's be not insensitive. Native American.
Cactus.
However,
you look at the crowd and
yeah, it was very it was deserty and all that stuff. You got cactus, western. Those guys had kilts.
They were Scottish.
I'm not sure how those made sense. Then they had axes and shit.
Well, yeah, a lot were in kilts, and then I look over here and I'm like, is that a gladiator? What is this?
Like, I do not understand what is going on.
Me neither. I still don't know what was going on.
Are there
and then there was one of the
Scottish Native Americans that I'm not aware of?
Or Vader, and we're in front of a mine shaft. I don't know what that has to do with Vader.
I think they just
their mines in Colorado.
We have no idea.
Is that are there mines in
Colorado?
That's where it came from.
We have no. I've never been to Colorado.
I haven't either, but I'm just saying. I'm trying to figure out. He's from Boulder, Colorado, so we're putting you in front of a mine shaft.
Well, you get boulders in a mine, right? I don't know. There's boulders in Colorado. That makes sense. I think.
I guess,
I don't know. Nothing's as baffling as Ultimate Warriors.
I guess I didn't go over the.
I would have been happier if there was some aliens there too. Throw some aliens there.
Yeah.
He's already, his gimmick's weird.
And then we saw one footage where we thought Bulldog's arena was just like a ring, but it had to be different gameplay because Bulldog actually had a ring in London.
He had a London arena.
The quarter posts were fucking fire hydrants.
Which in fairness is probably better than them trying to just do a giant dog house.
Sure, yeah. So I guess I should mention the roster. There were 10 wrestlers on this game. We had Brett Taker, Sean, Owen Hart, Bulldog, Goldust, Ahmed Johnson, Triple H, Vader, and the Warrior. The commentators were Vince and Mr. Perfect, and if I had to hear one more time that's not perfect, I was going to break the monitor. Like, that's not perfect. I think they said like 3 different times.
I noticed it a lot, and I was like, "What? Mr. Perfect's not even in this game." I wasn't thinking about the fact that he was one of the commentators. Yeah.
I didn't think that it had some cool stuff. Like I thought the arenas were cool. I thought that part was cool, but
the graphics weren't as good as the last game.
Like you couldn't even tell their tights and everything. Yeah, but when it got to their faces, you're like, "Who is that?"
Now I think that I liked this game as a kid, but I never played WrestleMania, the arcade game. I didn't realize that was around. So the only one I played was the In Your House.
As a kid.
And you probably
I would think this
not,
one
maybe,
would be a little cooler, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a lot more powers and stuff.
And you got cooler backgrounds.
And there was finishers that I never realized when I was a kid.
Right. And so they had, what they call them, super pins, but they were like fatalities.
Yeah, they were like fatalities.
They were supposed to be. And like Owen did his, and he ended up with a chair and a scepter and his crown, you know. So,
Bret Hart just dropped a giant title on your ass.
Dude, but Vader. What happened there? Vader turned into a giant blob. I don't even know what
Vader jumps up. It's like he is the blob from X-Men. Like he's from the blob from X-Men, and he drops down, and his ass goes
everywhere,
badonka-donk size,
everywhere,
and just slams on your face and everything.
Taker's wasn't as cool in this one because the headstone came up.
Yeah, I liked the one in WrestleMania better. Yeah, he just turned you to acid, then you turned into a headstone. And the last one, he threw you into a coffin, which was cool.
Which was cool, but you know, and I mean, it still had all the cool, like they didn't bleed, they had stuff fly on their, you know, bodies or whatever, and but it was hard. Even we watched a video of a guy that also did, but he was like comparing the systems for us, and he said the same thing I did. Like it's hard to find stuff in this game. It just wasn't. It was a very unreal.
It wasn't a lot, and
not a lot of info.
The only real difference is the Microsoft DOS version. They played the entrance music of whatever. It was either the wrestler or the venue you were at.
Right, which I didn't notice when we first started watching it, but it made, like when Sean's fighting in his nightclub, there's nothing.
No sound.
It's supposed to be a nightclub, and
there's no music.
Yeah,
and only the Microsoft DOS version had music.
Had the music during the
and it was the last one to come out, so I don't even know if it was a power issue, like they didn't have enough power to add the music. I think it was more likely they were like, oh, we didn't think about doing this, but let's just add this right quick.
I don't know if you noticed too that in the video we watched that Acclaim was not involved in this either.
Oh,
because they were busy with other stuff, so they passed it off to this, what do you call them, Sprite something. It was a different company, so it was Midway, but Acclaim was not involved in making this game.
Right.
So maybe that's another reason it was kind of swept under the rug. Overall, though, for the footage, it looks like it's pretty much the same game. You just get some different.
Every woman's wildest dream.
You just get some different arenas and a little bit of cooler graphics, and Ahmed has to fight the locker room. You know, so. By the way, I'm pretty sure Ahmed's finished with somehow he turned his opponent into a giant turd and then crushed it. That's what it looked like. Remember his super pin?
Yeah.
It looked like a giant piece of shit.
Sure.
Warrior was like Raiden and pulled down.
Yeah, he just
the gods, I guess.
Well, he is Native American / Scottish /
space alien. Yeah.
And Gladiator. I don't fucking know what
he doesn't know who he is. Okay, he doesn't know.
That is the biggest. That is the biggest. What is the word I'm looking? That's the biggest fatality of my childhood.
Warrior,
Ultimate Warrior. Since I started doing this podcast, the biggest fatality of my childhood is being like, why did I love the Warrior so much? I loved the Ultimate Warrior so much.
Hogan was my number one guy, but I love the Warrior too, and then I go back and watch this stuff.
Yeah.
Also, when you were a kid, it took a little less.
A lot less, apparently, because I was...
It was the makeup, it was the running, it was the shaking.
I mean, sure, I like his look and stuff, but he was not a good wrestler.
No, he wasn't.
I even gained slightly more respect for Hogan while also hating him more. I think with Hogan, I went from, okay, I get parts of it, but then I also was able to say, I also know why I hate him.
Right. And that was somebody, too, that was just a big part of my childhood. But I've always said about Hogan, what it comes down to is what he's actually done in the business. He's not the best wrestler.
No.
Hogan changed the game.
But
more than once, he changed the game. Like WrestleMania, being in movies, NWO, he just, what he contributed.
Well, in fairness, I have a philosophy that if you're going to make fun of something or someone or whatever, you should at least see their body of work or see.
That's right, before you shit on them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can properly insult them if you've actually watched what they've done.
That's why I can hate
Jeff
Jarrett.
That's how I feel about, like I watched the Twilight movies, and I read the books. So I could probably shit on it instead of just being like, oh, sparkly vampires. No, I can give you actual descriptions of why this is a shit.
I mean, I watched one because I watched your girlfriend, but I didn't need to watch that movie to tell you those are vampires that sparkle. I don't even know vampires. My daughter was obsessed with all the Twilights.
See,
but I tried to avoid.
I read the books because I like to read. I used to read a lot back in the day. I still read, but normally it's on the internet. But I love to read. And I love
It's
checking
a sunny day.
I read all those Playboys, every bit of it.
Every bit of it.
Every bit of it. No page left undone. Oh yeah, that's true. That's fair. But my sister does not read at all, and she read the Twilight books, and I'm like, okay, my sister actually read this. I'm going to have to check it out. So I checked it out. I've done that before with one of my best friends. He never reads either, but he read and liked Aragon, the Aragon book. And those were actually decent, and then they shit out on it on the movie.
They messed up with the movie, yeah.
I read the Twilight books and then watched some of the movies. I never finished it. I could never get to the end. But I watched some of them, and I read some of them. And I was able to pinpoint why this is more dumb in the movie or why this is more dumb in the book.
Look,
I know how to properly insult it.
Blaze likes to load his gun, is what he's saying. If he's going to shit all over it, he's going to have the ammo.
Alright, let's shit on the movie real quick. So, in the movie,
yes.
Do you remember how he shows off his sparkliness?
Hell no. I remember nothing about the movie except that it sucked.
So in the movie, he just out of nowhere is like, you want to know why I can't go out in the daytime? Sparkle!
It's raining.
He just takes her out to the forest and shows her that he sparkles, and that's why he can't be out.
I kind of remember that.
That's why he... Now, here's where I'm going to almost defend the books. The book still sucks. But in the books, she constantly berates him about why she asks him questions. She keeps bugging him and bugging him. Yeah. And then he finally was like, all right, you really want to know? And he shows it. And then he does the sparkle! So, but in the movie, it's not like that. In the movie, she doesn't. I don't even remember if she asked once.
I don't know.
She just did not care, and then he was like, "I got it. I have to show her that I sparkle."
Do you see my third nipple right there?
Yeah, it's like
I can't be out in the sun right there.
Yeah. When you start showing me that you sparkle, I don't think that you are a scary vampire that sparkles. I think, oh, he went to Jared.
He went to Jared. I told my daughter, you know what? If you want to watch a vampire love story, watch an interview with a vampire that throw drugs. All right, watch that.
True Blood.
Yeah,
True Blood is fun.
Even True Blood. Yeah.
It gets a little ridiculous as you go, but the beginning's
still,
pretty fun.
That would even be better than Twilight.
Yeah.
But anyway,
all of it's better than Twilight.
Goldust sparkled in the game, though.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes, watch Buffy. Gosh, I don't know.
That's got some vampire loving.
Yes, it does. Vampire love. That's kind of love. Not really. I don't know.
Or the greatest vampire love song of all time.
You're pointing to me like I know it.
You don't?
No.
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That's a vampire love song?
It is.
It is.
So, here's the story of that real quick. I just keep going. So, Bonnie Tyler originally wrote that for a vampire love story musical. It was originally, and then she like changed it up a little bit, and then made it a song, and it became a huge hit. But if you think about it, listen to the words, it's all there.
You're gonna be curious now. I'm gonna have to go back and that was something I didn't know. See, you're throwing facts at me.
Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart, and I need you now. Okay, none of these are vampire based, but
still, that's interesting though. That's something I didn't know.
If you look it up, I even used to know the name of the musical that was originally wrote for, but it is a vampire love song.
Nice. Well, that's a good song, so I'm okay with that.
It's the best vampire love song because it's the only one I know.
So,
continue. Sorry.
We're fine. We got our what? You mean we got off course and wasn't talking about what we should?
I mean, we have been.
That never happens.
We have been rambling for about an hour, so.
That's what we do. Well, the only other two things I wanted to touch about as far as these super pins, we didn't get to see one of these, but this wasn't a super pin, but in this game, British Bulldog's head turns into a bulldog.
It does. It does.
And the only other one that we didn't get to see in
headbutting. It's a headbutt.
I read that Vader turned into a Mantar.
Is that what happened?
Mastodon. Sorry, Mastodon.
Why?
Well, because that was one of his. I don't think they ever used that in WWF, but that was one of his nicknames or monikers. Like he was the Mastodon Vader. That was one of like his, But I still don't know why we're in Colorado.
And the game's like, I watched WCW. We're gonna throw this in. I did notice he glowed once, like he turned like he was on fire. So maybe that was the Mastodon.
Don't sound surprised. Don't be surprised if Vince had no clue who he was. Don't be so shocked.
That's probably true.
Vince probably had no idea who Vader was. Jim Cornette's just like, hey Vince. Let me suck on my tennis racket now while I'm in here. Fuck you, Cornette. But anyway.
Which end?
All right. What? Which end? Which end of the tennis racket?
Which end is he sucking?
By the way, like I always do, that I might have made a motion with my hands. You guys can't see. Like you can see what I was doing there.
Fair enough.
I think you get what I was getting at. Anyway, that is our review of In Your House, the video game. Everything that guy said, I tend to agree with. It looks like it's pretty similar. If you have a PlayStation sitting around, or if you got a DOS box you can crack, This guy actually said he found all these in simulator engines. Like, he didn't even use actual discs. Right. Video he watched. So if you know how to do that crap, dig it up, see what happens.
It was, like I said, it was a lot better in my childhood, but when you watch it back to back, or we didn't watch it back to back, but when you watch the WrestleMania, the arcade game, and then you watch this, and I'm like, okay, this has more stuff to it, but
yeah. And then when you watch all the screenshots,
the first one looks better.
You watch all the screenshots together of this one, and you realize the computer version was the best one. You're like, well, that's
computers always got better graphics and all that. That's just they move
even
faster.
Back then,
yeah, they move faster.
All right. Well, I think we're done rambling, and we can actually get to
let's
what
get
we're here
for. In Your House, what was it? Dog? Beware the dog. Beware of dog.
In Your House.
All right, here we go.
All right, so the beginning we get our little, WWF, the new generation, red whatever thingy, and then we get the opening In Your House. This time there's no house involved. This time we get a dog house.
Yep.
And there's a chain fence, and it says "Beware a dog," and the In Your House comes out on a collar and leash. It's pretty.
It's all right.
It wasn't bad, 90s graphics, whatever. And we get Vince and Jerry on commentary. They showed us a package of Davey Boy and Sean. And because we don't watch Raw, we didn't get to see all this. But basically, the storyline is Bulldog's accusing Sean of trying to steal his wife. Is basically.
I saw his wife. That's not happening.
So his wife is Diana Hart, and she's it's not. He's Shawn Michaels. He's had Sunny nights.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a dick. She's not like ugly or anything.
No, but she's not Sunny.
She's She's not Jenny McCarthy
or Pam Anderson or
she's not. Sean can get supermodels. This woman's not a supermodel.
No,
she's a good-looking woman.
She's fine. Yep, she's fine.
But Sean's pulling much.
Yeah, I mean we're trying to not be asses, but we're just being honest.
I'm just saying.
So anyway, we kind of didn't really get to see all that. They showed like clips of the accusations and blah blah blah. But since we don't watch Raws, we missed out on all that lovely. Are you trying to? Hey, you trying to fuck my wife, eh? I loved when Bulldog would try to talk Canadian, even though he wasn't. Like you're British, but he feels like he's part of the Hearts, so he has to.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so we get them on commentary, they're talking about that, and we jump right to the ring in our first match. We get to see Hunter Hearst Helmsley once again with some random chick on his arm. and his opponent is Wildman Mark Marrow and 1996 Sable. Which, by the way, I don't know if you've Googled her lately, but 2023 Sable is fire too. I'm just saying. I hate Brock Lesnar.
Continue.
That's all I'm going to say.
One second.
Yeah, so this is Mark Marrow's first match as far as we know. And of course, part of the story was that Sable showed up at Triple H originally, and he took her back, but in real life they're married. It was a good opening match. I always like to see Triple H. It was a little bit of an old school match. Triple H pretty much was dismantling Mark Marrow's arm the entire match. A few cool spots where, he whipped him in the corner. Triple H did the flip over. I thought Blaze was watching the match, but Sable was at ringside. So it's kind of like, when Sonny's at ringside, it's hard to pay attention. But it wasn't a bad match. It was good technical wrestling. Mark Marrow did some things I never saw him do when he was Johnny B. Bad. I mean, he had a Hurricanrana off the top rope. He attempted to do a sunset flip kind of deal to the outside. Triple H moved. And that's where he also injured his knee. So the whole match was really just Triple H beating Mark Marrow down as much as possible. And Mark Marrow was selling everything really good. He had a good look. It didn't work out for him in the WWF.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, not
I'm
too
sorry,
shabby, right? For as old as she is.
Yeah,
she's go
probably.
Brock. She's still taking F5s.
She is.
Anyway, no, I was just telling everyone about the match. Not about Sable, but the match that we just watched.
There was a match?
Yes, and it was your guy. Come on, man. It was Triple H kicking off a pay-per-view.
I'm sorry, 1995 Sable was there. I didn't notice.
96, you're in the wrong year.
96 Sable, 95 Sable, all Sable.
So, overall, not a bad match, and I knew, Marrow's selling everything real good. He can't move his arm, he hurt his leg because he attempted that move outside, and he's just a hot mess. Triple H went for the pedigree and then threw him down and was like, wait, not yet. And he went outside and stole, by the way, Sable's dressed like a dominatrix, it just is what it is. Very high heels, boots up to the knees, very, very, very tight.
The whole club looking at her.
Oh, yeah, they are, all right. Anyway, her whip got taken away. Triple H stole her whip. And I'm just like, why is she carrying a whip? And Blaze is like,
it fits the
like
look.
It
fits the look.
She's got to tame the wild.
I don't think they're trying to hide it.
No, meanwhile, Mark Marrow's got leopard print on his tights, but whatever.
That is probably how they explained it, though, is because she needs to tame the wild man. Yeah.
So he spends all this time doing these shenanigans, saying, watch what I'm going to do to your man, so I was expecting something to happen. And he had Triple H had him in the corner, he slapped him, he went to pedigree him, and Mark Marrow flipped him above his head and sent him into the post, I believe. I guess he kind of just lifted him up and dropped him onto the actual post, not the turnbuckle, but the actual.
Right.
And he stole the victory. So, good match, but kind of the finish was okay.
I liked Triple H working the arm.
Yeah, I love the old. You don't see it a lot anymore. You don't see it a lot.
It's good. It's good match storytelling.
Yeah,
it's good match storytelling.
Regardless of
you're telling a story, you're trying to take out a weapon. Take out an arm.
Always loved working body parts.
Hell, I do it. That's what I like to do when I play my video games. Yeah. When I play my wrestling games, because they have
health meters
on the newer ones. They have where you can see the body, and it's not just newer ones.
Yeah.
They've been doing this a year, but for a while now. But so I like to go in there. I create my character, and I
take them all out.
I create my own move list and everything, and I like to make my move list based on going after different focusing on my move list will focus on the arm or the leg or something like that, or the head, and then I have my finisher. One of my finishers to be a submission move that takes out that body.
That same body part, yeah.
So it's less about taking away their weapons and more about weakening them for my weapon.
Exactly. And it was just old school work about it. He even did the old, pulled his arm and wrapped it around the post, and all that. And again, for all you haters, this is early Triple H. And the man, I mean, at this point, he's good already.
He's great.
And he's still young. He's not even Triple H yet. He's still Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
And I love him.
Me too. So,
one casualty might be on Uncle Warrior.
Yeah, Uncle Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior.
But you also gain some other stuff, I mean,
I've always been a fan of Triple H.
I know. That's why I can't.
But this is really confirming my love.
I can't wait till we get to that period where everybody said he was champion constantly because he slept with Stephanie. Because that wasn't the case. But I'm just interested to get to that and be able to watch that stuff with you.
Absolutely.
So we can shut these haters down. Really, part of all that reign of terror they say was Triple H's is what happened last year in AEW. How many times did Jon Moxley champ in 1 year? Because this person got hurt or this person got fired. And it was the same thing then. Injury happened. Triple H was that good that if they needed someone to slap the belt on, hell yeah, they did. And I hate to tell you kids, but how this works is, if you got that belt around your waist, you have to sell tickets. Period. You have to sell seats.
I just skimmed by an article talking about how Triple H became one of the greatest heels in the business. And
he was good. And he sold tickets. Do you know why Ric Flair versus Hogan never happened in WWF? Because they tried it on house shows that didn't sell tickets. That's just business.
Really?
You think that would have been one of the biggest matches?
Yeah.
But when they tried it on the house shows, it wasn't selling like they thought it would. That's why it never happened in WWF. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the money, money, money.
Money, money, money. So
anyway,
I'm sorry.
Good kickoff match.
Yeah.
Nothing over the top, but it was good old school wrestling. It told a good story. And even though the particular way they did it wasn't my favorite, it still made sense because Miro had no offense. So he had to find a quick way to win. And if your head hits the fucking corner post, it's going to knock you out.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I'll take it. So, I'm going to give this match 3.5 lashings from Sable.
I was going to give
if
it...
she's going to slash me, actually, I'll give it 5. Come on, Sable.
I'm going to give it 3.5. Hi, Sable. Wait, there's a match?
There's a match? He did get distracted for a minute. At least he can admit it.
A minute?
Because we're like watching the match and then all of a sudden I heard something about something Sable has that's very large. Could be her puppies.
I was thinking it was her heart.
Really? I was sitting there going...
She has a big heart.
I really wanted to walk up to her and be like, so,
Eyes.
Those have to be heavy. Is it worse with those high heels on? Like, is it more like, that's a lot of...
I mean, I would have helped her.
I would have helped her. I'd like to help her too. Alright, well, not a bad kickoff match. Let's see what's in store for us next.
Alrighty then.
Alright, so next we get a package backstage with Bulldog, Cornette, Owen, Clarence Mason, blah, blah, blah. And Cornette says Owen's got a manager license for one night, and he has a surprise for Shawn later on in the main event. So before I tell you what we watch next, let me explain what happened during this pay-per-view. This In Your House originally took place on May 26th, and there was a severe thunderstorm during the pay-per-view. There was a power outage which caused them to not be able to broadcast on pay-per-view. I guess this is the best way to put it, if that makes sense. So, there were only 2 matches that night on the pay-per-view, and they had to run a second night to finish the pay-per-view, which was on May 28th. On the network, they put it all together so it's only one.
Ish.
But they literally...
bad editing.
They literally just slapped it together to where we saw what was the actual first match of the pay-per-view was Triple H and Mark Mero. That was legit first. The next match we saw was the main event. But we're not
main
done,
event already.
But we're not done yet. But we saw the main event already. So I just wanted to explain that for you guys who are like, why are you talking about the main event? So the next match is for the WWF Championship, and it's Shawn versus Davey Boy Smith. Shawn has Jose with him, and, Davey Boy has everybody else. And, of course, this
literally
whole
everyone.
story, again, is about adultery, and Shawn's trying to steal. So Clarence Mason runs...
Is he, though?
Clarence Mason runs his mouth, and the whole big other surprise Cornette was talking about was a fucking summons for Shawn to go to court for trying to... I forget how he worded it, but he was trying to say he was suing Shawn for trying to steal love, is basically, you tried to steal her heart? You're going to court.
I don't know if that's admissible in law.
I don't either, but...
I don't know the law.
I do like...
super well.
Some things they don't use anymore, though, and I think we've talked about the legal aspect before, but things they don't use in wrestling are like the manager licenses don't get brought up like they used to. Which I always liked, especially if it was a wrestler and the ref would try to kick him out, and they'd be like, oh, I got a manager license for the night. They don't do that anymore. And they don't use lawyers enough. Like, the lawyer stuff always is good if you do it right. You know what I mean? I mean, this one's kind of cheesy, but I'm saying if you do it right, though.
All I'm saying is
MJF used lawyers. MJF used like a lawyer story.
He does it right.
This one's not right. No, this one's horrible. And we all know Clarence Mason's supposed to be OJ's lawyer. That's where the character's based on.
Cochran?
Johnny
Cochran.
Trying to live off OJ here.
Yeah, but you know, I'm just saying that I got a divorce, and my ex-wife had an affair. And I got no shit. No shit because of the fact she got everything she wanted.
She's a woman. Whoa,
yeah.
Let's start a whole nother podcast.
I wasn't the one that had the affair, but she got the kids, the house,
the dog,
my dignity, everything. She won. And she's the one that had an affair. So I don't really think that you can take this to court.
No.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't deal with the law.
Neither's Clarence Mason. Sean ripped up the freaking summons, and Davey Boy attacked him right away.
Well, because it wasn't an actual thing you can go to court
not an
for.
Actual thing.
Although I think they can go to court for almost anything.
He worded it a different way, but he was basically saying that he was trying to take Sean to court for trying to steal Davey Boy's wife. But if they didn't have actual physical, like, first of all, I don't think that's a thing anyway. Like, you can't sue the person that cheated. Well,
you know, maybe they can. They can try to make a claim for stalking.
I guess.
I mean, that is actually. You know, I'm starting to come around here.
They're trying.
But you could make a claim for stalking. Well, you won't leave her alone.
You won't leave her.
But that's not the way they worded it.
No, they worded it like he was trying to steal her love. I don't know. It's fucking weird. And during the match, though, there was a spot on commentary where Jerry said, Marty Jannetty says Sean likes those married men.
Married men?
Or married women, I'm sorry.
Sean likes those married men, huh?
It's raining. That's twice it's rained men during this episode. What is going on? We haven't even seen Gold Dust yet.
Not yet.
What is there? So that's our storyline, and there were some spots, but man, I was disappointed. This is Shawn Michaels. And Bulldog's put some good matches on, but this was one of those... There's a difference, like we were just like, I love watching them work apart, and now I'm going to complain about these dead holds. But there's a difference. A headlock is just a dead hold to buy time. And there were like 75 headlocks. That's not working a body part. That is for you to catch your breath or to figure out what you're doing next. So they either didn't
maybe
work this
British
match
Bulldog
out,
was doing
Bulldog
too many
was
drugs right now.
Fucking blown up from the coke.
Yeah, he might have been doing too many drugs.
You're going to have to headlock me because I shouldn't have took that last bump before I came back. Let it snow. Well, am I wrong? Was this? I'm not saying it was horrible.
I'm saying I agree with you.
It was boring, right? This was boring.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
This was not your typical Shawn, or even what we've seen from Bulldog lately.
It was, how do you say, disappointing?
Disappointing. So maybe
disappointed.
Maybe it's good they put it in the second spot instead of, at the end the action picked up a little. There was a cool spot where Shawn or Bulldog jumped up. Sean ducked when Bulldog was coming off the rope, and Bulldog jumped over him, of course, and took Earl Hebner, like, completely out. The ref went all the way fucking out of the ring. Then we got the second ref. The Bulldog went for a power slam, and Sean escaped it and did a German suplex, which I thought was weird anyway. I'm like, is Sean really going to win with a German? And he did. And then the refs argued. Then they played Davey Boy's music right away, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And they started announcing Davey Boy as champ. Did you notice that? Yeah. Because there were two refs. That's what happened. Earl got knocked out of the ref. And then we had to sit through a big pointless thing about who actually won the match. Because one ref said Sean won. And then Gorilla came out and said, you know what? It's a draw. Here's your belt. It was very lackluster. It was definitely not what I expected.
No.
Not at all.
I expected a little bit more because we've seen some good matches from British Bulldog.
And Sean.
And obviously, and normally Sean elevates whoever he faces, and I
this
just
was
don't feel like
night. Apparently,
it was. I think it was I don't think it was them. I think it was how it was booked or how it was.
Yeah, because there are
like what the blueprint was for the match.
Yeah. What they call, I don't know if they called it then. They call them producers now, but yeah, whoever works with you to put the match together, or Davey forgot it all because that's happened before too.
That could
I told
be
you that on that Wembley story.
I think that's the one that makes sense.
Brett and Davey took hours to come up with that match, and then when he got in the ring at Wembley, he's like, I don't remember what we were supposed to do, man. A little too much partying. I mean, I guess I don't want to rank it real low because it wasn't a horrible match. It was just boring.
Yeah, but it was also a main event.
It was also the main event and the championship match, and it was just... I'm going to give it, 2.5 German suplexes. Yeah, that's low, but it was boring.
Yeah, I'm going to give it two sleeper holds to me, because that's where I was going.
Yeah. Like, wow. Maybe it was just an off night. Maybe they wanted it to go that way, but it seemed like a lot.
It was an off night.
Headlocks.
Apparently the power goes out.
Well, yeah, the power went out. Maybe that's what happened, the power went out.
And we just got the main event.
Cocaine.
Maybe the main event that they cut through might be better than the actual that was supposed to be the main event.
That. We don't know what our main event will be now because it's not the main event. The main event's not the main event, so we know that.
Right?
Well, let's see what's next. Alright, so we immediately go to the next match, and now they're in the new venue because the In Your House stage is gone. It's just a ramp down the middle, and then they show footage. Like, they still did all the matches, so I was kind of wrong. They showed footage from the strap match from the original In Your House, so they did keep wrestling when the power was out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they showed the arena was pretty dark except for the emergency lights, and they did do the whole... So
apparently they had power for the first match and the last match.
But nothing in between.
They edited it where the first match and the last match from the first night. So essentially, and I guess now it makes a little more sense because they're actually putting storylines based on...
the power outage and everything. Yeah,
based on the power outage. Because they show that, Raw has happened.
Yes.
So this is the next night, Tuesday, I'm guessing, is when they did this.
Yes.
So they actually changed the storyline from this match that we're about to watch and added a stipulation on Raw.
2 stipulations, actually. But yeah, they showed where they added the stipulation that if Savio won the strap match, Ted had to retire. The other stipulation they mentioned that was with if Austin won, Savio had to be the chaperone or the chaperone, the driver. That guy. He had to be their driver. I guess is what it is.
So it actually does make sense now.
Yes. But again,
which we didn't understand.
Either. Yeah,
we did.
It was little.
Well, we also haven't finished this paper.
No, we haven't.
So,
but. It was a little weird.
But when we were watching the main event, we were like, wait.
What is going on? Yeah. But now we understand.
But they're doing timeline of events.
They are.
And they're actually acknowledging that the blackout happened.
Yes.
So those are the 2 events that we got with power.
Right.
So now we're getting the powered events
powerless,
on Tuesday.
We're getting the powerless events now, yeah.
But the fact that they actually... acknowledge it. They didn't try to just pretend like this is the same pay-per-view and everything the same happens. They just it's like, well, you're going to have to do a rematch.
Yes, they even showed
they make it as a rematch, not a
just like it never happened yet.
Like it never happened. Yes. So now it makes sense why they cut it this way.
And they even showed the In Your House Beware of Dog 2 logos, so you made sure, it does make more sense. Because we would have been more confused if the set changed in the middle of the paper.
It's like, where'd the house go?
Where are we at? But, I hate to hate on Sean, but this was better than the main event.
Oh, by far.
First of all, I love strap matches for several reasons.
Strap matches are fun.
Strap matches are always entertaining.
We just love to watch men get whipped. Wait a minute.
Hello?
Whoa.
Hello? What?
Wait.
He likes to watch. Whatever, right here. No, but it was very entertaining. Those straps always sound like... I imagine it does fucking hurt. I mean, there's no way you can fake.
I don't think you can hide.
You can't really fake it. You can't work a strap.
What are you going to do?
It's not a fake strap.
Yeah, right.
It's going to hurt.
I don't care if it's like a toy strap. That still is going to hurt like a bitch.
Yeah. And it was good. And we all know I give Savio a hard time, but this was a hell of a match. This was a good match. Everything about it.
He had a good one last time it was Stone Cold and him.
He did, yep. And I told you before several times, Stone Cold credits Savio for helping launch his early career with these good matches.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. I guess I'll go steal the hubcaps instead of Savio. I don't know. But
well, we're about to hear more of Stone Cold.
We are. We're getting so close.
Because spoilers. King Louie's next.
Ted
DiBiase is gone.
Yes, Ted is gone. And of course he heads to WCW to do the same shit with the NWO. Not wrestle and just be a manager. That's
I'm guessing health-wise he just wasn't able to at this time. Do you know?
He could still wrestle. He wasn't part of the new generation.
Okay.
and Vince's plans. And then when he got to WCW, they had zero interest in putting him in the ring. They wanted him, but they had no interest in him stepping into the ring. So.
He was fantastic,
He was.
though.
The only other thing I can figure, I don't remember reading anything about it. I can double check.
He's one of the highlights of the original pay-per-views.
But if he had an injury, I don't know this for a fact, but if he was injured and did the old Lloyds of London claim, that always puts an end to your wrestling career. Lloyds of London was that big insurer back then that insured wrestlers in case they couldn't wrestle anymore and you got damaged, they would pay you out. But if you made your Lloyds of London claim, you could never wrestle again. Like it happened to Rick Rude, a couple of guys did it that shouldn't have did it. Mr. Perfect did it once, it kept him out for a while, and then he managed to go back. But maybe that was it.
Maybe.
But Vince just thought he didn't fit in. Same thing with Macho. Vince tried to put Macho in commentary, told him he was done. You're not in the ring no more, and he went to WCW and wrestled for several more years. You know, it was this whole new generation thing. The old guys got to go. The old guys got to go. You know?
Do they, though?
And Ted was really good. And I don't think
Ted
a lot of people
great.
realize how big Ted was before he even got to WWE. He was already a huge star before he was even the $1 Million Man.
Huh.
But if you didn't watch WCW or Mid-South Wrestling, you know, it was the older territories. But yeah, Ted was already a well-established wrestler when he arrived. So anyway, very entertaining. Plenty of high spots. The suplex, there was a superplex off the top by Savio, and that was pretty slick. That's where I thought he was going to win the match right there. I couldn't even remember this. I'm like, oh, he's got. That's another the great thing is when you watch these and don't remember who wins, you can still get involved.
That excitement.
But if it's that good, like the Iron Man match when we watched it, I was still worried that Shawn was going to tap. You know what I mean? Like I knew he wasn't, but I still had that feeling like, oh, what's going to happen? And that was this match constantly, and the ending was actually brilliant. Like I loved the end.
Yeah, it was a good. Like we've had some really lackluster ends so far, and the ending was fantastic.
Yeah, because Austin basically wrapped the strap around Savio so he could drag him to all the corners.
Around his neck.
Yeah, around his neck. And so he could drag him while he was tapping the turnbuckles, but every time Stone Cold tapped one, Savio was tapping him behind his back, and he didn't know it. And then when it came to the fourth one, like Austin's literally the one that sent Savio right into the fourth turnbuckle to win the match.
And he tapped it and wins.
He tapped it and wins. Great match. It was perfectly done. And yeah, this was way better than Shawn. And
hey, Boomer.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Would you say that Savio stole the match?
Hey! Nice.
Hey!
The guy who gives me stuff. Gives me crap. Came up with a good one.
I mean, it was right there. It was right there. He stole it. He stole that win.
He did steal that win. He did. And yeah. And then they were playing his music, and he said, "Cut my music. I got a different song for you, Ted." And they started playing na 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 na, which I guess
na na na.
I didn't even know. I just figured that was coming.
Hey hey hey, goodbye. I don't know why they were singing this song because Ted DiBiase is gone, and I'm sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It is. It is. Ted was really good.
Ted was fantastic.
And the $1 Million Man character, like, come on.
I love the $1 Million Man. I love the $1 Million Belt.
And the fact that he got to live that back then, like Vince always made sure he had cash on him, and he was always in limos, like he always got to live together. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was definitely better than the quote-unquote main event. I'm going to give this 4 stolen straps.
I was gonna go the same route.
Oh, I stole his ratings and his straps. By the way, they mentioned during this that Savio was 31-0 in Caribbean strap matches.
33.
33? Oh,
I think it was 33.
You know, but he's just like not in WWE.
Yeah, there's no way he had 33.
Well, they're also not
Caribbean strap.
Do you remember in the rundown when he's like, "Hey, in America we call these Brazilian nuts. What do you call them here?" And the bartender's like, "Just nuts."
Just nuts.
Same thing with this. We're in America. It's not a Caribbean strap match. It's just a strap match, Savio. Okay? This ain't the Caribbean. Just saying.
I think we've always called it a Caribbean
strap
match.
I've always heard leather just a strap match is what I always thought they were, but who knows? Whatever. Anyway.
I've heard the term. I've heard it both ways.
Both ways, huh?
I've heard it both ways.
Switch hitter over here.
I'm gonna do 4. Just 4.
Just
stole
4.
it.
Just 4. He stole it. He stole a 4.
4 stolen matches.
4 stolen matches. All right, well, I believe... I don't know, it's a little bit confusing. I think we have like 2 matches left, I think.
I believe so.
I believe there's 2 matches left. Let's see what's next.
All right.
All right, so before the next match, they show Shawn Michaels backstage talking on America Online. And Blaze called it before they even showed it. He's like, I bet he'll type one finger at a time. And he did. First he's just reading, and then you get the old, where's the A?
Oh my gosh, and that computer, holy crap.
Wow, right?
It was like, it was a relic.
Isn't that something else about watching this? Like, it feels like in 96 we should have been farther than that, but we weren't.
But no, we weren't.
Those laptops were still bulky and, yeah.
Yeah, no, Windows 95 just started.
Yeah,
it was back just the year.
Like, shouldn't that have been... Yeah, no, not yet. We're still young into it.
I think laptops weren't really super popular then. You had major console things, so that was probably really expensive laptop.
It was very fancy.
That really, yeah.
Yeah.
It
was very bulky and
yeah, it was weird looking.
It was. And so our next match, we get the Monster Vader against Babyface Yoko. And they showed on, clips of Raw where Vader tried to break Yoko's leg and blah, blah, blah. And it was fine. It was a decent match. It was better than some big man matches that you see.
Yeah, it was,
it was fine. This was part of the problem that WWE had with Vader. And I'm not saying Vader never lost in WCW, but they never made Vader look weak. Like, Vader was a monster in WCW. And I realize Yoko's 600 pounds, but Vader would have never got his leg taken out like that and been limping around and backing off. And so they kind of killed Vader,
So apparently I am way off. The first laptop was established in 1970.
Oh, yeah, computers were
well, I know computers have been around for a long time, but I didn't think laptops were around for that long. I'm
sure it was a very huge laptop.
But they said the first laptop computer, as most humans know them, was invented in 1981.
Oh, wow. Huh.
So the laptop we're used to, 1981, I never thought... Oh, shit. I guess that's a laptop.
It was then.
That's a laptop.
Google that. Gosh. Google a 1980s laptop.
Oh my gosh.
Because you got to remember, if you look up a computer in the 80s, it's still one of those, you would probably see a picture of the big, wall thing,
So let me describe this if you're not watching the YouTube. I'm sure I'll put a picture of the laptop on the YouTube when I get there. But, so, we're not talking about a laptop that can fold up or anything. It's literally a monitor, the computer next to it, and a keyboard all hooked or all put together as one big thing. No big console that you hook up to the monitor. No. It's just one big. that's technically a laptop.
It almost just looks like a desk sitting on a computer, but it's actually a laptop.
You're essentially essentially moving around a small TV.
Yes.
But we're not talking about small TV nowadays. No. We're talking about small TV in the 80s
when they still had weight
tube to them. Yes. And it was heavy. Yeah, it was probably heavier than your most of your small TVs. But that was a laptop.
Wow.
And this picture has a boombox over it. Another relic of the bygone
era. Oh.
A more positive relic. I like the boombox.
So do I. And sometimes stuff like, I swear to you, I saw a TikTok not a TikTok, but a reel on Facebook the other day, and it said, I can't believe they sell this at Big Lots. So I'm like, I'll go ahead and watch it. And I swear to God, this chick's mind was blown because there was a CD player on the shelf. What fucking rock do you live under?
Son of a bitch.
She was like, I didn't know they still made CD players. And then she looked at the box and goes, oh, but I guess it's Bluetooth. Yeah, there's still CD players. They still sell CDs.
Well, that's different than not knowing what it is. She clearly knew what a CD player was. She acted like she hasn't
seen a CD player on a shelf in years.
I mean, fairness, have you seen one in years?
Yes, they still sell them. Yeah,
I don't see
Walmart
them.
Electrics department, Dollar General has them.
I guess I never looked.
I don't shop for them specifically, but yeah, they're still there. It just kind of blew my mind and made me feel.
I barely look around for DVD players these days.
True, they do still make.
I'm surprised we still have consoles that come out.
Oh, we'll always have consoles, but discs are going to go away. Eventually, consoles.
They tried to do that with the first Xbox One. Remember the controversy? They wanted to make it an all digital, and they did make all digital Xboxes, but they didn't. But because of the controversy, they also made the disc version as well.
I have 2 systems at home, and I don't think I have any discs for either. I don't
have a lot of discs.
Doesn't have discs. It's a cartridge, but
the only time I buy disc is when I buy them used. That's pretty much all the discs that
movies,
I have.
Like I hate to say it, but I don't. I do have some that I still have in cases, like we hear.
I don't get rid of them, so I still have them.
I have it's all digital now. Even my movies.
Well, yeah, I don't buy movies because they're streamed.
They're streamed.
They're just streamed all the time. Like almost any movie you want to see is streamed, unless it's a new movie.
But even the ones I buy, I just buy the digital, and it's right there.
Absolutely.
But whatever. And we're talking about all this because there's not a lot about this match to talk about. I mean, it was fine. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
They made Yoko look weak, or they made Vader look weak. It looked like Yoko was going to bonsai Jim Cornette, and Vader pulled him out of the way. He bonsai'd nobody, and Vader took advantage of it and match over. So it was fine.
It was fine.
For 2 big guys, good. I just don't like the way they made Vader look, but Vader's WWF career just didn't go well at all. Wait till we get to SummerSlam. Shawn's not doing a job to Vader. Are you kidding me? I'm Shawn Michaels on that. Not doing it. By the way, I told you that I watched, if you have not watched Rivals, WWE Rivals on A&E, you should, because I told you I was watching that, and the best part when they were talking to Shawn, like now, is he didn't deny anything. He's like, yeah, I was young, single, the top guy, and kind of a dick. And he admits all that. He has no problem with...
What did he admit?
Well, that was all talking about the rival between, him and Brett, but he was just saying in general at that time he was hard to deal with because he was the top guy.
And he was
he knew it, yeah. And he's like, I was single, I was the top guy. Did whatever the hell I wanted to do.
Yeah, maybe he did fuck British Bulldogs.
Maybe.
He was like, not because he wanted to, but because he can.
Something he used to always deny, though, was not knowing about the Montreal screw job. But that's because Vince told him to deny it. Okay. And he did deny it, like, right away in the locker room, because Vince told him to. He may have technically not knew what was going to happen, but Shawn was just like, I'll do whatever the hell you want me to, Vince.
Right.
Just tell me. But that's a whole other subject. We got to rank this match, I guess.
You know what the biggest shock of this British Bulldog story is?
Yeah? What's that?
That his wife is saying that she doesn't want to have sex with Shawn.
That's the part nobody should believe. That's the shock. Mad at her. Do you buy that, really?
Like, I'm a man and I want to have sex with Shawn Michaels. Yeah, absolutely.
All the
1996 Shawn Michaels.
A lot of the men
most of us men would have been like, all right, sexy boy, let's do this.
We told you that actually the truth is Marty wasn't pissed about getting super kicked through the window. He wanted some of that, and Shawn wouldn't let him have any. That's what it was all about.
He wanted something else to super kick him.
Yes, and he never got it. That's what that whole feud was really about.
Yes.
By the way, you notice Marty has disappeared for a minute. We haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, yeah, no Marty.
But he will be back.
It's In Your House, though. There's a lot of people that
I don't think he's there at this time. Marty Jannetty has been hired and fired more times by WWE than any other person.
I'm not saying that he should. I'm just saying.
I literally think he's not here right now is what I think. I think he's gone again. But they bring him back because we're about to see the new Rockers here pretty soon.
Okay, sure.
I mean, when all else fails, you go back to the Rockers, right?
No.
Did I write this? I don't remember what we did.
I don't think we did because I interrupted you about the fact that British Bulldog's wife is the one saying no.
Yeah, saying yes.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. Shawn Michaels is gross. I am not going to let him touch me.
No.
There's no way.
No way.
Nobody wants anything to do with Shawn. Whatever.
His entrance music talks about how he's a sexy boy.
Sexy he is.
And I'm sorry, it's not a lie. It's not a lie. If there was ever a more attractive specimen, I don't know where it is.
Well, there's this guy called The Rock. I don't know if you know anything about The Rock. But.
Okay, I love The Rock. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But when you look at The Rock... Does just like Fabio level attraction? What pops in your head? Is that what pops in your head? Is man, this man is sexy.
Well,
I mean, he exudes charisma. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm just obsessed with The Rock.
Fair enough.
I think that's the problem.
I mean, I understand that.
Totally obsessed with him. Yeah, that's.
But he's not your traditional look of male attraction. You know.
Sure.
I'm not saying he's ugly.
I know.
Don't get me wrong.
I know.
I'm not saying The Rock is ugly.
I don't even know what's happening with this show today.
Don't
Trust
lay
me,
it to smacketh down on my candy ass, Rock.
Yeah, if you smell
I'm not saying you're ugly. I'm just saying that if I don't, he's not the person I think I would see them pick as a model in a magazine.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, they might.
A couple years
he's
ago,
not bad looking.
A couple years ago, he was the sexiest man alive, according to people.
Well, that's because he's
About
The
4
Rock.
4 or 5 years.
But I don't think that's because of straight up looks. That's because he's the fucking Rock.
Exactly, and that's why I'm obsessed.
I mean,
with him, just
like
he's
it.
The Rock. It's fine.
I would say he's one of the most charismatic people on the planet. But I don't know if I look at him and think, sex appeal.
I don't see nothing wrong. What's happening with this show?
I mean,
now?
compare him and Shawn Michaels is what I'm saying.
Yeah, just not now, because Shawn now you don't want to compare. Not now, Shawn.
No, we
it
don't
has
want
to be 96 Shawn.
We don't want balding old cowboy Shawn.
Camo NXT Shawn. No.
No.
Anyway,
But 1996 Shawn.
We got lost again.
Yeah, we're just getting interrupted by talking about male
because
sexiness.
that's how good this match was, and now I still don't remember if I ranked it.
I'm going 2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it
2.5.
2, whatever. Yeah,
I think my gay side came out. 2.5. My gay side.
He's coming out of the closet.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. Once again, it's raining men.
Just the tip of my gay side. Okay, look at Shawn Michaels. I'm just saying. At the very least, I want to look like Shawn Michaels. Okay.
I mean, that I get. I don't know. Are we done? No, I'm joking. We got one more match.
We got one more match. All right. Let's get to the last match. Let's get to the last match.
All right, so before the next match, we get a crazy commercial for King of the Ring. That was the Jerry Lawler commercial. For King of the Ring.
Was fun.
Good stuff right there. Jerry choked on the chicken, and
yes, he did.
Went to heaven.
Maybe a turkey. We don't know.
And then we ended up in hell, and they were advertising King of the Ring, and they announced
he was getting attacked by.
I was trying to remember who.
I'm trying to remember. Oh,
One was
Elvis. Elvis was the first one.
Was that supposed to be Don King?
They had a mummy on the side.
Like the one guy looked like Don King, but I didn't think Don King was dead at this point. But that's who he looked like.
It did look like Don King. Absolutely.
I don't know, and then they announced officially for the next In Your House we're going to have a rematch, and that's what all the crap was with the draw between Shawn and Bulldog, because they're going to have a rematch for the title at King of the Ring. They also officially announced the tag team title match for King of the Ring. We can get stoked knowing we're going to see the fucking Godwins and or Smoking Guns and the Godwins for the titles.
Smoking Guns are good sometimes.
Smoking Guns are pretty good, though, so. Our next match, not the main event, but the main event of night 2, not to confuse everybody. But anyway,
dude, Don King's not dead yet.
I didn't think so, but that guy looked like Don King. Alive. I thought he was, but he's in heaven with Elvis for some reason.
He's like 91 years old, but he's still alive.
Jeez. So our next match, we get Goldust versus The Undertaker in a casket match for the Intercontinental title. Before it even started, I was like, spoiler alert, because that was the one title that led to The Undertaker's career. Was the and that's something else. Like, couldn't you have just gave him like a little run with it, just so he could have?
I'm surprised they never did.
Title that,
it was like 30 years of
and that was the only
Undertaker
title he never had. He even won the hardcore title once and never got the. Anyway, Goldust came out first, and then the Undertaker's music hit, and Paul Bearer starts coming out. But all you see is the smoke, and you see no Taker, and all of a sudden the Undertaker's behind Goldust. And they start out right away hitting each other. It was a good back and forth, high-paced match. There was a spot where Goldust tried to do old school on the Undertaker. He's like, he pulled him off. Nope, not going to do it. Goldust gave Undertaker a very gentle, nice tombstone, because he totally had him in the wrong position. If he would have dropped Undertaker, it might have killed him. I'm just saying. It might have killed him. Good hard-hitting match. Goldust had Taker down and tried to pin him, and the ref's like, yeah, that's not how you can win. And got to a point where the Undertaker was getting ready to put Goldust in the casket, and when he opens the casket, who's there? Who's in the casket? Mankind. Which we didn't even realize because we don't watch Raw that Mankind was there now.
I didn't know we had Mankind
But he
back.
opened the casket, there's Mankind, He hooks on the mandible claw, closes the casket, and Goldust actually wins thanks to Mankind. But in a casket match, it's all perfectly legal.
I get these warm fuzzies when some of these legends start showing up on our podcast. I'm like, we're getting the good shit.
And you know what? Like these days, like other than if you're seeing the Hell in the Cell footage, you don't see a lot of this Mankind. If they're showing Foley, it's later in his career. You know what I mean? When he's more the sweatpants and the tie. You know, this is the original dark. Yeah. Why is he pulling his hair out, as you said? Right. This is the original Mankind.
No, I have
Mr. Sacco.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Do you think it's possible that was Frederick Douglass? I can't remember exactly how his hair looks. It's not quite the same as Don King. Do you know who Frederick Douglass?
Yes. That could have been. I do know who you're talking about.
Frederick Douglass?
That was probably who that was. I didn't even think about that. It just looked like
Don
King.
Who definitely has passed away.
It just looked like Don King.
I thought Don King too, but I'm like, I always, I sometimes think of Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
Because of the hair and everything. So I think that could have been Frederick Douglass. I didn't look that far into it.
Me neither.
But now I kind of want to look at it so I can just...
We just definitely knew Elvis was there. And then you had like some other like ancient people at the table. But
where's my TV remote?
I don't know. But you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Assistant! Where's the remote?
I figured you could talk.
I could, yeah. But they heard you like, where's the TV remote? We're very professional here, folks.
I figured maybe I could, I turned down the volume to get to that commercial again.
We're very professional here, don't worry about
it. Yeah, sure we are.
So anyway, that right there, I mean, it was a good match anyway, like, because both these guys can perform, and Dustin's always been great in the ring, but I loved the ending. Like, I did not expect that at all. They obviously had to have somebody, Mankind had to be hiding under the casket. I mean, he had to be. There had to be a fake bottom in it or something.
Oh, yeah,
you would have saw him come in. But anyway, he puts Taker in there. He locks the lid on, even though the casket lid was broken, wouldn't even shut right. He locked it, and then smoke starts coming out. Paul Bearer's all worried, and then they immediately take the lid off. Like it wasn't even locked because it was broke. And Undertaker's gone. He just disappeared. Where's Taker? He owes me $5. Where'd he go? So, but good match, entertaining, good wrestling. I love the ending. I love me some Mankind. Better than the actual main event. Not the first match that was better than the actual main event, but I'm going to give this 4 gentle tombstones.
Gentle tombstones.
Dude,
just giving it a nice little...
I don't know if...
Little tappy tap tombstone.
If you watched it, though, I don't know if Goldust realized it. I'm just glad he dropped him as gentle as he did. Like, Taker was not in the right position to be tombstone.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned that while we were watching.
So hopefully, it must have just been Dustin was like, I better be careful here, so... But good match, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed this. I liked Goldust. I loved Undertaker. This was an entertaining match that I don't know if I ever realized that they faced.
I don't either, and I also never realized when I was younger that they overused the casket match.
Oh my gosh, I like casket matches.
It's like every In Your House
has
In Your House Attack of the Caskets. Like what?
There's been I think since Undertaker's shown up, there's probably been a casket match almost every year he's been there.
Yeah, and that one year there were like 2 or 3 in a row. Like,
yeah.
Let's slow it down on the casket matches. Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten one with Mabel, Kama. Was that a match? Yoko.
Yes, Kama did get a casket match, yeah. They fought twice. The second time it was
I think that's match. 4 right that's there. 4 right just since we started watching this. And we've only watched 95 to 90. Yeah. Now we just got to 96.
Yeah.
So that's 3 in 1 year.
Yeah. It's a little intense, but whatever. So yeah, overall, like I said, I give this a 4. 4 gentle tombstones.
I don't know if 4 is what I would go with.
Well, what would you go with?
I suppose I also need to rank this, huh?
Yes, you do.
So, what do I do here? I was thinking like a 3.
Okay. A 3.
A 3.
Can't argue that.
3 mandible claws.
3 mandible claws. is, man.
Because mankind, mankind is back.
Stuff's about to get good.
I keep saying back, but he never.
He's here.
He's just now showing up.
And it's
we have got to see him once, just not as mankind.
We're just excited. That's all.
We saw Cactus Jack.
See Cactus Jack. We're excited because we know next pay-per-view.
That's a turkey.
That is a turkey. So
he choked on a turkey.
He's pulling this back up because he wants to see who was in this.
Yeah, I want to see if we can figure this out. Yeah.
But yeah, our next pay-per-view we know is King of the Ring, and this is the King of the Ring.
So there's Elvis.
That was, the other guy you were talking about, not Don King. I think that
he still kind of looks more Don King-like, but...
A gorilla?
Yeah, I think that's for a gorilla.
Elvis.
Frederick Douglass, and...
I don't know who that guy's supposed to be.
It could be Caesar, or...
Yeah, no.
I don't know,
weird.
It's not a very good...
It's not...
So we got those. We got a dog for some reason. That's probably King Tut.
That's King Tut, yeah. And then the boy's next to him.
Mind you, King Tut was a child.
It's fine.
No, it's not fine.
It's fine.
I'm going to need you to brush up on your history, WWE. And the dog. Man, it's hard to fast forward and rewind with this one.
It was pretty funny, though.
It was real short, so...
But we do know, like I said, next is King of the Ring, and not just any King of the Ring. The King of the Ring. The Stone Cold King of the Ring. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
Famous King of the Ring.
Very excited about seeing the birth of the true Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I wonder if we get his music in the King of the Ring.
We don't. And to be honest, I don't think Glass Shattering comes for a while because he had a dark match at the SummerSlam that's coming up that I went to, and he still did not have the Stone Cold music yet when I saw him at SummerSlam. So
fair enough.
Yeah, he's got to proceed. So.
We almost forgot the Devil also shows up in this thing.
I imagine the Devil's always hanging out with Jerry Lawler, though.
Absolutely,
that's probably a thing.
No, that makes sense.
All right, well, we made it through the pay-per-view, and we got some matches to pick.
I suppose we do.
We did.
Favorite match of the night.
All right, so favorite match of the night. I feel like a lot of times I end up picking like the main event, and that's not happening in this one. Sean was not the best match of the night. I went back and forth for a minute, and I'm actually shocked myself because I like to pick on him, but I'm going to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Savio Vega in the strap match as my favorite match of the night.
Damn.
He doesn't like to agree with me, that's all. I almost picked this.
I was definitely picking this.
Because of the Mankind appearance, like I almost picked the casket match.
If Mankind was in the match, maybe.
Yes.
But he wasn't actually in it. He was just an appearance. No, I'm definitely going Stone Cold and Savio. Overall, I think that's the best match of the night.
It was the best
Had the
match.
Best ending of the night.
Yeah,
I mean,
best story behind it.
Best story. It was just...
Because you got to think at this time, that was huge to think the $1 Million Man might be gone, which he was. But you know, we didn't know that then. And the fact that Savio could have become a chauffeur. That was
and the weird thing is they didn't plan that for the actual pay-per-view, because that was a stipulation added to Raw.
Yeah.
So what were their plans originally?
That's a good question.
What changed that they were like, okay, you're gone officially?
Well, maybe
now.
they decided, maybe they already knew this, but because the power went out, they just ignored it, and maybe it wasn't announced yet. I don't know. That's a good question.
There's no way they knew. There's no way they knew the power was going to go out.
They didn't know the power was going out, but they knew Ted was leaving. They already knew Ted was leaving, so I don't know if they just changed it because of the power outage, and they decided we're just going to do it right here.
Maybe
I'm not sure.
Maybe they were originally going to do the match on Raw instead of the pay-per-view.
That could be a possibility.
And then they're like, "Oh wait, we're going to have to redo this pay-per-view. Let's
just
change
throw it in now." Yeah, because
I
know they knew Ted was leaving, so maybe the plans just changed.
Because that's weird. That's weird that the pay-per-view didn't have that stipulation, but then they added it to the remake pay-per-view.
That's a good point.
That's very odd, you know?
It is. All right, well, let's see what's worst.
I think this one might be a little bit harder. Worst match of the night.
All right, well, for me, this was actually not hard for me. I'm going to go Vader Yoko. pretty simple for me, just because it was. I don't think there were any real bad matches on here, but I will tell you that Vader and Yoko saved. I'm not gonna lie here, sexy boy. It was that close. Like Shawn might have ended up being the worst match of the night if Vader and Yoko.
I'm picking Shawn Michaels.
I figured you were, and I almost did because of several reasons. Because it wasn't that good, and it was supposed to be the main event, and it was the championship match. So, yeah, I could see it going that way. And I can't argue with you at all.
Yeah.
I only paid a little more attention to that match because it was Shawn. But it was a boring match, so I can't argue that. He's going Shawn versus Bulldog. I'm going Vader Yoko.
Yeah, I'm going Shawn versus Bulldog.
I cannot.
I think the fact that it was also a main event elevates it to worst status because...
You can't argue it because it was supposed to be the main event, and it was
supposed to be
fest. Good. Yeah, and it was a snooze fest. And it was Shawn Michaels. So, yep, can't argue with
that. Yep. In Your House Rankings.
All right, time to rank the In Your Houses. Of course, I'm a little different from Blaze. I start with my favorite, go to my least favorite. And so, still at the number one spot is In Your House 5, which we've talked about over and over. That's Bulldog versus Brett. It's going to take a lot probably to knock that off that top spot for me. So,
right.
At 1, I got 5. 2, I got In Your House 7. At 3, I got In Your House 6. Even though this one was kind of a mess and everything, I've put this one at 4. And then I have In Your House 1 at 5. 2 at 6, 3 at 7, and my least favorite is still In Your House 4.
So this is 8 is 4 for you.
Yes, 8 is 4.
I'm going to do it like this. In 8th place, I have In Your House 4. In 6th place, or 7th place, In Your House 3. And I'm putting this at 6th place.
6th place.
Yeah. I thought there's a couple decent matches, but I didn't think this was all that great. This is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But maybe that's partially because of the blackout.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't know. In Your House 1 for 5th. 4th is 2. 3rd is 7. I have 6 in 2nd place, and in 1st place, I have 5.
Still 5. 5 still got the hot spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't argue that.
Yeah.
All right. So we did favorite match, worst match. We ranked.
Ranking.
So I don't think I've forgotten anything at this point, except for...
Actually, a little teaser for Iron Sheik.
Oh, okay.
Tweet of the week.
Yes. So
I want you to read that tweet.
I will. So if you don't follow the Iron Sheik on Twitter, he's a gem. I'm telling you, he's a national treasure. And I mentioned one of his tweets, and Blaze is like, we should just do a tweet of the week from the Iron Sheik. It'd be great.
The Sheik tweet.
The Sheik tweet of the week.
Sheik tweet of the week.
What? Oh, this was the one? Yeah, this was the one, right? So this is one earlier that I read to Blaze. He's like, you gotta read this. This says, in the next 20 minutes, go fuck yourself.
That is all.
And since we just started this, I just want to read his New Year's one real quick. This was on New Year's Day. Let's see. First of all, on New Year's, he tweeted, I'm the person of the year, which is kind of funny. But it said, if you look around and all you see is jabronis, then call me to break your fucking neck. That was a New Year's tweet. He said, Joe, you gotta cover him, but I'm gonna do this every week. I'll pick one Sheik tweet.
One Sheik
tweet a week.
Sheik
and this week it was in 20 minutes, go fuck yourself. So make sure you time that. 20 minutes from
Please
now.
make sure you fuck yourself in 20 minutes.
But you really do gotta follow him. You gotta follow him. I'll make sure every week I pick out my favorite. But this, here's one that says I'm the person of the year. Like, I mean, it's just, come on, man. It's great stuff. If you don't follow
What was the
him.
one about, was it Hulk Hogan? Or
yeah,
you read a different one.
There was one
earlier.
I remembered off the top of my head that there was one time he tweeted Hulk Hogan's hairline's been receding for the last 25 years. Or something like that. Yeah, so, yeah.
I think it's been longer than that.
It's definitely been. Turn up the music, turn down the lights, and go fuck yourself.
He really likes that fuck.
He loves fuck yourself, yes.
Man, we are a very, clean podcast. We do not say fuck at all, ever. Fuck
I'm not
going to keep
doing
word.
this, I swear, but this one really, the only thing guaranteed to you in this life is beer. These are words of wisdom from the Iron
Words
Shake,
of wisdom.
okay?
I like it.
Respect the shimmy and the shake. This is
so this isn't the official tweet of the week. He's just going through.
I went through a few just to share. Yes.
So you know what you're about to get into. Little dick tease here.
Fuck the 2022. That was a tweet. Fuck the Hulk Hogan. So there's a lot of fucks. 3 more hours till 2022 can go fuck itself.
I don't remember the Iron Sheik being this crass at all.
Today is the last day of 2022, and Hulk Hogan is still a dumb son of a bitch.
I wonder if he really likes Hulk Hogan or really hates him.
It's hard to tell, but we're going to start doing this every week. I was just catching up because...
Iron Sheik has some good shit.
He does have some good shit. Snap your fingers, tap your toes, and go fuck yourself. I don't know. He wants to go fuck yourself a lot. So anyway, look forward to the tweet of the week.
So Sheik has some great tweets, just like MJF. I think MJF is great on tweets
is
too.
But this is definitely another, another good one. Fuck the COVID. That was 6 days ago. Fuck Bill Cosby. I don't know. We got.
Sometimes you just gotta say "fuck Bill Cosby."
I
understand that.
There's a lot of fucks here.
He really does like to say. Really hopefully, we find some more unique ones and not just "fuck this, fuck that, fuck everything that moves."
Not to be conceited, but I am a fucking legend.
That's good. I like it. I like it.
Anyway, we'll start.
So that's going to be a new segment.
Yes, and I'm going to add that to my notes.
The Sheik tweet.
So I don't forget the Sheik tweet of the week. Yes. All right. So. That's going to be a new feature, and now we're going to plug some pluggables other than the Iron Sheik, right? So don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, The Boomer and Blaze Show. You can also find us on the Insta and the Twitter at Boomer_Blaze. And we are on the TikTok at Boomer and Blaze Show. And don't forget to check out the YouTube channel.
The Boomer and Blaze WWE pay-per-view rewatch.
The YouTube is great. Like, I'm on this show, but I still enjoy going back and watching them because Blaze has done a lot of hard work to make it very entertaining. Like, I appreciate all the work you're putting into them.
Thank you.
And hopefully it pays off when we get,
Hopefully.
We're getting,
And so far, you haven't even showed up on the YouTube. you haven't even been on the YouTube because I'm still working on trying to go through a bunch of Rage and Blaze shows and putting them all in order.
Yeah.
And I might be redoing some of our YouTubes that I shared on Dragon Blazer Productions.
It's a process.
Because I really like what I'm doing now. I'm not going to redo the YouTubes I've already shared on the new show, but I liked the new photoshopped YouTube page. It's a lot more fun for me it's a lot more work.
Yes.
But instead of just taking random pictures off the internet, I'm actually doing something to the random pictures I find on the internet.
Yes. And maybe having a little fun in the process.
I am having I'm having fun. It makes me more proud of the YouTube page. It's more unique.
Yes.
I like it.
And a lot of the stuff he's using on YouTube, you'll be able to see on TikTok. Because I use a lot of these things he's coming up with.
He steals all my work and shares them on TikTok.
I put them on my TikTok, and then it looks like I'm doing all the work.
Yeah, you're working really hard.
I'm working hard for the money.
What money?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, you're getting paid?
My bad. We do this for the love of the podcast team. That's why. But anyway, don't forget to tell
all the work I do, I should be getting paid.
You should be. Don't forget to tell them where else they can follow Dragon Blazer.
Oh yeah, Dragon Blazer. You can find me on Dragon Blazer Productions on the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube, and TikTok. You can also find me on the Twitters at Dragon Blazer Pro. And like I said, follow the YouTube page, the Rage and Blaze pay-per-view rewatch program. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Once you put the Rage and Blaze pay-per-view, you're gonna find it.
You're gonna find it. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Go find it.
So it's starting. It's finally got to, I believe, about 1,000 views. So
nice.
Out of all the episodes that I've done, but we're at quite a few views there. out of all my YouTube pages that I separated, the Rage and Blaze one has been the most beneficial of it. Yeah, we're at 989, so we're like 11 views
All right,
away.
guys, 11 views.
Let's hit
okay?
that.
Let's get that.
Oh, we got 2 more views on the Saturday Night Main Event episode I just did.
Nice.
And 2 more views on the Royal Rumble one.
What? See, we're moving along. Very good.
Oh, yes, and we have a comment.
Yes, we do.
We have a comment. I think you should comment
to
to them.
I should check it
yeah,
out.
absolutely.
I have not done it yet.
It says it's by Dustin Henderson.
Okay.
And they say, rubbish Ronnie Garvin. Gotta love his persona.
Did you say rubbish?
Rubbish Ronnie Garvin.
So I wonder if he doesn't know his real name or if that's meant to be a joke.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I wanted you to comment. I thought you would figure that out.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what he means by it.
His nickname was Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Maybe autocorrect fucked it up. Was this autocorrect?
Or if he hates Ronnie Garvin, he's rubbish.
But then he says he's got to love his persona, so I'm so confused by this tweet.
We're trying to figure that out. I bet it's an autocorrect.
But it's the first comment I've got on our YouTube page.
Wow.
I believe.
To get to that one.
I believe, and it's on the Saturday Night Main Event that only has 8 views.
Wow, hey. Nice. Well, yeah, I'm not sure. That could have just been an autocorrect, because like I said, he was rugged Ronnie Garvin.
I know, that's why I'm confused. I'm like, is he bashing him?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
I am so confused.
So confused.
Well, we'll try to dig into that and see what I can find out. I don't know, but until then.
All right.
Next week, King of the Ring, 97, the birth of Stone Cold.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
He's being called Stone Cold, but this is the true birth of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So make sure you
Stone Cold without the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
Without the $1 Million title, without all that. He's about to become true Stone Cold.
I believe he says like a very famous phrase.
Like this line
I feel like there's a phrase that he says that becomes iconic.
Doesn't only become
I don't
iconic,
remember what it was.
It becomes the #1 selling shirt.
That too.
Ever.
That too.
It's so huge. And
what do you think that is? I don't remember. I guess we'll find out
next
week on the Boomer and Blaze Show.
Until then, I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
Good night from Dragon Blazer Studios.
And here is your winners, and still podcast tag team champions of the world, the Rage and Blaze Show. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, this is Blaze from the Rage and Blaze and the Boomer and Blaze Show. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wrestling content.